Teeth.
Go.
Yeah. Is that what we're doing now?
It's going to be no context for anyone who watches this and isn't us.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
okay. No one watches this, but us.
We're
job.
good. We got
Don't
it.
know that our YouTube channel is going to have 1 million subscribers 7 years from now, and they're going to look back and they're going to go, what is this?
7 years from now, if we haven't deleted these because we have 1 million subscribers, I'll be almost impressed.
You
Or we
make
put them as
a really fair
unlisted.
point.
Yeah. Okay. So, who wants to do the recap this time?
Unicorn's dead.
Yeah. I'm coughing after every sentence, so let's speed run. Yeah, unicorn's dead. Alsana can't speak with the unicorn. It wants us to do last rites, power of the dark, all that stuff. Shadow, seed, buried deep. So we get the horn off the unicorn. Cain does it with Cain cuts with the sword. Alsana stays in the forest. Yeah, that's gonna be a good sentence. Alsana stays in the forest for a little bit, and the rest of us go back to Walton. And we start just downtime stuff because we got the downtime. It's a month, and
You got about 3 weeks you gotta kill.
Yep.
that's it. I'm gonna go cough now.
Okay.
Oof.
Well done.
Oof.
So, during these 3 weeks, each of you has let everybody else sometimes know about what you're doing. Seems that Cain, Calda, and Elaris all kind of take turns supply their expertise to the people of Walton in martial sense, teaching them how to fight as a group on a smaller basis, running a few training sessions. And yes, in about that time, you can get them fairly respectable. They're not necessarily leveled adventurers by any means, but they could probably hold their own if another threat came.
They have a bonus to hit now.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe even a +1.
They've
If
got
3
proficiency
bandits
in very
arrive, they won't
tough.
just explode.
Pretty much. Cain, you didn't mention it, but I vaguely assume you've also been working on those rusted swords you mentioned wanting to
Yeah, just doing what he can to make them functional, if not clean.
Yeah.
Just enough to hurt.
You get them to that point, you've got plenty of time, and if you dedicate some of that time to that, then you can clean them up, maybe get a bit of an edge on some of them, the ones that'll hold it at least. Potentially teach some of the villagers in the course of training the care and upkeep of these weapons, as well as the use of them. So you're able to keep fairly busy for these weeks.
Alongside taking like leisure time to go fishing, whenever I can, help out around.
Yeah, fishing is a cold, chilly business. Winter has not really released its grasp, even though during those 3 weeks you do roll through the spring equinox, and slowly days are starting to get a little bit longer than the nights, though it's still mostly a 50-50 split, or close to. Regardless, there is still some snow certain days. It's not gotten super warm, though of note, by the end of the month, kind of in the latter week or so, there is an unusually warm day, and after that it seems to be on a little bit of an upswing. Still cold, still kind of at or around freezing most days, but you're starting to see icicles growing from the house as snow starts to melt off of the roofs and off of tree branches and so on. So you know you're approaching the thaw. Elaris, you spend a very nice few weeks with your family, knowing that
Yep.
after this month you're going to be traveling far afield, and who knows how long it's going to be before you come back.
Mm-hmm.
In between helping Cain and Calda with the training of the villagers for their self-defense, you spend some time with Aurora and with Gage. Perhaps with some neighbors and friends, at the very least some acquaintances around town as well. You just make the most of your time at home, and on said spring equinox, when there is a small celebration of the turning of the year, in which everybody brings out some specially kept food stuff from the last harvest, things that were preserved, salted, dried, and then set aside specifically for this occasion to celebrate the passing of another winter, the passing of the darker part of the year. You were able to sit down with your family and have a nice meal, reminisce over the last year, and look forward to hopefully more peace for Walton, even if your road, by comparison, might be more perilous. Calda, you of course know that on the 9th, something comes for you on a dove, a letter folded around something. You spend your time, again, helping with the training, getting things in line, spending some time with various villagers and kind of getting to know them a little bit, spending some time in the inn with the halfling family who runs it, the Copper Kettles, and just enjoying the cozier atmosphere of a close-knit community. Though you are still technically an outsider, there is a little bit more warmth there because you've dealt with the problem in the woods, as is growing more evident as these weeks go on, since in this time there are no blight attacks on the town, on the village, and in fact very few blights are seen at this point. You occasionally, when Kane in particular, but perhaps the others as well, take some advanced trainees out for a quick sweep of the woods. You occasionally come across a straggler here, an odd one there, but you're able to clear them out in fairly short order altogether. And you're able to spend the rest of your time in between this training and practice and maybe a little exploration as you would see fit. Alsana.
I like that I was saved for last.
Yeah. Alsana, after the meeting you called on the 11th in order to make sure everybody is very aware of some of the particulars of definition of magic and what was done in the woods and portals and so on and so forth, and that you very much do not simply set a torch to whatever problem happens to arise. After you've made all that very clear, you take a little bit of time and then you make a little trek up to the town of Soren. On the, more on the northern edge of the wood. Soren is not a large city, but it's a decent town as far as that goes, located near a bend in the Drake Run on the edge of the woods, and just against some fields that offer nice farmland, so it sits in a crux of 3 different resources: the fields, the forest, the river, and all the trade that comes along it. And you spend some time there exploring and seeing what that town is about, seeing what the history is. You find the old manor belonging to the old Brightmantle family, long since died out, unfortunately, but given to the town itself as a building of knowledge and governance to some extent. And you find their small library there. Nothing really impressive. You've seen much better in your own journeys.
She still tears through it in an afternoon, maybe.
Yeah, it might take a couple afternoons. You meet a few interesting people, have some interesting conversations, and after just short of a week, you head back to Walton in order to continue terrorizing a few poor, innocent townsfolk, who by the end of it are for the most part, thoroughly convinced that you are some kind of witch, and who knows what kind of hexes you've laid on various people.
All of them.
For all they know, perhaps.
All of the people or all of the hexes?
Yes.
Both. But aside from a little bit of unease, they are not at the point of running you out of town.
Oh, and just a very small thing, but just that she would have done.
Mhm.
Either in Soren or in Walton, if she finds a place for it. She's gonna pick up a few beads.
Okay. It's possible that the woodcarver in Walton might have a few little trinkets, scrap wood that he whittled down into spheres just for the exercise of doing so. Most of them are larger, but he's got a few very small ones he did for the challenge, and you can ask him to bore a hole through them. Some of them they're fairly plain for the most part. He doesn't really go in for the fine decorative work. But he'd willingly give them to you without any cost. If you wanted to look for something a little bit fancier, you could dedicate a little time in Soren to doing that.
Yep, in that case she probably would have just taken the one wooden one, just forced to remember Walton and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she has some particulars in mind she's looking for in Soren.
Okay, describe the particulars you're looking for.
She wants one teal bead.
Okay.
One black and yellow.
Okay.
And one, she's gonna ask certain someone who's heading out what their favorite color is.
All right. Would the certain someone be the third one?
Yes, the easier one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did not think this far in depth. Let's see.
Roll a d6.
It's red.
All right.
He likes the deeper, richer, almost a burgundy red, not the bright, vibrant one. The one that looks like, the very old velvety book
Maroon,
covers,
kinda.
or yeah.
You're maroon.
All right, and she'll.
So given enough searching, you might be able to find him. Go ahead and do me an investigation check just to see how long it takes and how close you get to your particulars.
All right. Investigation.
Yeah.
Boop.
That is your searching around.
Uh,
Yeah. Let's have the D4 then.
10.
10. It takes you a while.
Just can't find a store that
Yeah.
sells them.
Yeah, after a good while of searching, you might have to settle a little bit. I'll say that you don't find quite a teal. It's maybe closer to a turquoise. If you want to be finicky about the color, it's not close enough. If you don't, then you found it.
She's finicky about it.
Yeah, the closest you're able to find for that one is a turquoise. You do find a black and yellow bead, but it is literally half black and half yellow, and it's kind of painted the colors down the vertical. It's not in horizontal stripes.
She'll
But you
take it.
do... Okay. But you do find a nice deep burgundy red bead. You're pretty close, sure as close to the color that he described.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. They're
She'll wait on that
relatively...
teal one, but yep.
Yeah, they're relatively simple shapes. Like the burgundy is just a sphere. The black and yellow is actually a slightly elongated shape. Not quite a teardrop, where one end is thin and the other is wide, but like wide in the middle and it tapers at both ends.
Yep, that'll work. And yeah,
Okay.
she'll wait on the teal one. She might want a fancier one of those, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically just coppers. You probably don't have to worry about it too much.
Okay. Do I have any coppers on me?
It's
I'll just-
probably like a copper per bead at most, maybe a copper for both. Let's say a copper per bead,
All right.
just because you got choosy. So, all right. Is there anything else last minute that should be said or brought up, or you want to mention about your characters in detail or anything?
Not really, no.
Kane will attempt one thing, very small.
Hmm.
He will attempt to carve a bead of his own.
Okay.
Ooh.
Are you proficient in any kind of woodcarver's tools?
Nope.
All right.
No.
That basically means you don't get to add any kind of proficiency bonus to this. I would say that it is dexterity, so it's just a dexterity check. Are you doing it with any particular tools or equipment? You can probably borrow some
Yeah, I was gonna
tools
say,
and maybe
he
some
might go to the
pointers.
wood carver he talked to before who made the wheel.
Yeah.
Might
So-
ask for like an awl or something like that.
Yeah, so at the very least, you're not sitting there with your pocket knife,
Yeah.
or your dagger.
Actually, he might reach into his bag, ask for all. AWL.
Hmm. I mean, okay, go ahead and give me the d20 roll for luck.
Oh.
Nope. Oh, that's a 1. Yeah. You reach into your bag, you hope for an awl. Unfortunately, what you managed to pull out
Rabid
is,
Wolverine.
no. Well, it might have been
A
an awl.
poisonous snake.
It might have been an awl once, but you pull it out and it's not just rusted over, it's rusted through. And it's rattling on its handle.
You turn it once and there's
It's
just kind of looks at it and goes, I'll borrow something.
technically an awl, but it's functionally useless, so yep. And yes, you are able to borrow something. You might even get a pointer or two. So it is still just going to be a dexterity check, but it might be a slightly lower DC. Are you just trying to do a sphere with a hole bored through it, or do you have something
Pretty
more in
much.
mind?
You might take
Okay.
some berries and try to dye it after, but for now.
Okay. Yeah. Dex check. That's a 9. Okay. With the pointers, and with a few nicked fingers, you do manage to get something that's roughly in the shape of a sphere. It is not perfectly smooth, of course. There's definite lines and little chips and nicks, where the blade slipped, or you just couldn't quite get that curve around there. But it's got a hole through it. It's in one piece, and it is functionally a bead.
what you call a shape with 47 sides.
A pain.
Might be something like that. Now, bits of it you've managed to either cut or even like sand fairly smooth, but there's definite bits where the knife went and actually gouged out a little bit, and you can't quite get those all the way down. So,
He'll take it. He'll just, out of curiosity, basically braid it into the end of the mohawk and just leave it there and not say anything about it.
okay, yeah. Add to your character sheet or wherever you want to put it, your description. 1 handmade rough wooden bead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
About what day do you do this?
Halfway through the month.
If it doesn't matter too much, halfway through the month, probably the 20th, the 21st, spring equinox, the center, maybe the 15th, 16th. Alsana is gone. She leaves on the 14th, and she returns, did you say the 18th or the 19th? Or was it the 20th? I can't remember.
It was dependent on like if anything she was doing took extra time and all.
If you lingered, we could probably just say the 20th, because you wanted
Yeah,
to be
sure.
back for the spring equinox, so... Yeah, so there's a good solid week where she's gone, and if you did it halfway through the month, then you did it during those days. Now, you're not making any effort to hide it.
Nope.
Alsana is fairly observant, if I remember your passive perception being insane.
17?
Yeah, you might not see Kane immediately upon getting back to town, but the next time you do see him, your eyes go straight to that bead in the end of the mohawk.
She looks. Says nothing.
Uh-oh.
Do you find the back of my head that interesting?
She doesn't even look at you. Just walks off.
Ooh, cold shoulder.
All right. For the following week, presumably, the bead continues to dangle from Kane's head, and Alsana says nothing about it, unless I am told otherwise.
Have her. She's pretty good at these. Yeah, she'll. Just doesn't say anything. Not yet, at least.
Okay. All right, anybody else? Last things. Ilaris said no. Calda, anything? Okay.
Nope, nothing.
All right. Well then.
Does anyone question what she was up to in the time she was gone, or just kind of like, oh hey, you're back?
I mean, Kane just doesn't give a shit.
It's oh hey, you're back.
Yeah, I know. I
Well
mean, the
done.
rest
Yeah,
of
it's
the
a
party.
hate.
Calder probably just wanted a point to be like, you were gone for a bit, where'd you go?
I tripped to Soren.
Where?
Oh, what'd you do there?
A few things, met some nice people. Did a bit of shopping and researching. Did you know that the well, do you remember the Lord friend of Renala in mentioned in your journal?
Yeah, there was him who, didn't he found Soren?
At least it claims, and there was a building named after his family in there.
Oh, well,
Although the
isn't that
family
something?
itself seems to have gone away, and it's left in more of a public ownership.
Well, at least the name lives on, huh?
Sorry, say that again?
Well, at least the name lives on. I can't do the accent to that shit.
No, sorry. I get confused because the name lives on sounded like her name for a second, and I never mind. I suppose it's just good to know where we got our things, and I was wondering if maybe there was a third to the set or something. Which, has anyone tried that bow yet?
I haven't really tuned to it enough the dexterous type. Not sure Kane has either.
Yeah, that is an excellent question. What's being done with the bow?
Have you considered maybe trading him the bow for the... Because Alsana has it, right? She's the one who picked
Calder
it.
has the bow.
Oh, does Calda?
Yep.
Okay, well, either way, that works. Have you considered, trading him the sword for the bow?
Well, I would if I wanted the sword.
Do you not?
I have my own sword. It's bigger, and I really don't think it's my style.
Is it, does it have heavy property out of character?
No, it does not. It is a short bow.
No, I mean the sword.
Oh.
No, it's a longsword. It's just versatile, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not a great sword. So halfling
Yeah, no.
can wield it, yeah?
Yeah,
Although I think we're ignoring the heavy property.
pretty much. Of
Yes,
note,
it does,
when
but Ness is a freak.
when Calda touched the sword in the forest, and there was a comparison of hand measurements, I wasn't meaning that it stays that size. Magic items do tend to kind of grow shrink to suit the wielder, the attuned one. It was more the last person who wielded this was medium size. So Calda could.
I remember you saying that before, but Calda, once again,
Okay.
the lot the sword.
Okay, that is fair. That is just fine.
Yeah, I just think we're ignoring it because glaives have heavy property.
Yeah. Anyhow.
But she's kind of like, well, I mean, it's not doing much use with you, is it?
I could just give it to Kane instead of trading it.
You see
Nothing
your
ever.
face scrunch up.
Hey, it doesn't have to
Do
always
we
be
have
trade.
to, though?
Oh dear.
Do you want to use it? Here, do you want to use it? Calder's just taking it off her back. Do you want to use it? We can go get some arrows. He already has a bow, and he has arrows. I think he's one of the most well-equipped out of the four of us.
Yes, but
Yeah.
this is not just a regular bow. It's not a one-to-one thing. It probably does various magics and things that could be useful, and I doubt Alaris is getting
Have
it
we-
because he's got his little weapon dedicated to Xanthus, who won't return my calls.
Maybe
Yeah.
leave him a couple of voicemails. I don't know.
Just text them.
Not one to talk.
Well, Kane is the least magic out of the four of us. Maybe giving him a little bit of it will be a bit of a boost, and also
She
Also-
like her arms kind of like scrunched. It's like I know he's the least magic, and I want to just.
You want it to stay that way.
If you remain here and Phalaris remains here, it will stay that way. But right now, also, he was the only one who didn't do the ritual back at Threshold. I think he deserves to have a little bit of a boost.
He chose not to, and frankly, Alaris has agreed to pay that back. Just,
For now, I'm gonna let him use the bow.
it's yours, and I can't say anything against it, but I can say
It's
I
not-
am against it.
Since when
It
has
is
that
not
ever stopped?
mine. It is not mine, it is that woman's, and you are fully free to say something against it. If you want to keep it in your possession until you decide to make a trade with him, that is fine. It is the group's bow. It is not mine, it is not yours, it is not Kane's, it is not Alaris's. We share.
Sharing potential.
What potential do I have as someone who doesn't use a bow?
I'm not saying you. Why don't you want the sword?
I have my own magic right now. I really like my greatsword. Family heirloom, Asana. Family heirloom. It's basic, but it's something, and I have my own magic to mess around with.
Fine. Give them the bow.
For now, I'm keeping my sentimentality. Alright. If one of us wants to use the bow later, probably I should ask him if he'd want to let someone else use it.
No, just give him the stupid bow.
Calder
And
will
then
take
she
the
like
bow.
pauses. Actually,
Yep, Calder.
let me give it to him.
I was just about to say. Take the bow off her back and just hand it to Alsana. You make that decision yourself.
Why do you hate me?
I will. She walks over to Kane, wherever he is currently.
By the way, can I just... One thing I totally forgot. Can I get Kane to buy some arrows? Are there arrows here he can buy?
Hmm.
I know you don't care,
know
but
what?
I'm keeping track of how many he
They-
has.
Let me see if I remember what weapons they had. No, they mostly had slings. Arrows
If not, that's
might
fine. He'll
be...
get some another time.
Yeah, it might be a bit short on the ground in this town. Soren might have some.
Okay,
You'd
no worries.
probably do that
Yeah,
way.
he's probably just helping out some farmers do some sparring.
You see
Hello,
Alsana approach with a bow in hand.
She has it
Sounds-
like behind her back, but like badly behind her back, intentionally.
He tells everyone to take a quick rest, turns to her. Looking for archery practice. I'll be the
No.
target if you want.
I just helped but notice that this was sitting on the sidelines, not being used very much.
Is that what you call on called us back?
Well, she doesn't pull it out, so yes.
Fair enough.
Do you want it?
If you're offering.
I am offering. On a condition. She kind of like reaches into her, you see her like reach into her back pocket. And she flicks a red bead towards you.
Can he try to catch it?
Yeah, it's simple enough. It's straight towards you. You saw her going for something.
He's just
Okay.
glad it's not a knife.
Take that god-awful travesty of woodworking out of your hair and use something better.
You did always have the better fashion sense of the two of us.
You said it, not me.
He'll take out the bead, replace it.
I swear to God, if I see more than 3, they're getting cut off. She passes
Oh, why?
the bow.
Using it to remember each of our mission points. Still need to find the first one for Threshold.
There's a twitch on her face.
She just smiles and takes the bow.
tree.
Can you remind me what the bow does?
We never
I didn't
found
tell
out
you what the bow does
because
yet.
no one attuned to it.
Exactly.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. There's no identify in the party and nobody attuned. So would you like to attune to the bow or are you just packing it away?
Can he make anything? Actually, no, he wouldn't know to do that. Yeah, he'll.
No. Yep, okay. So presumably after you finish up the training, you spend about an hour focusing on the bow, examining the wood carving, which is very, very nice, especially compared to your own efforts. You've got a new appreciation in all your nicked fingers for the level of detail and craftsmanship that was put into this bow.
And calluses.
Yeah. It is rich with patterned carvings of curling leaves and vines and feathers, pretty much about 2/3 of the way up each arm, and protruding from the upper arm, just above the grip, there is delicately carved the little face of an owl. And as you attune to it, you start to get a sense of what it is capable of. I will now show to players.
Oh boy.
Ooh. The Owl Soul Short Bow. That's a really cool name.
Yep. You can rename it if you wish. That was
Oh,
a
that's awesome.
placeholder. Okay.
Oh, fuck me, this is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
Yeah.
Getting
Ronaldo
hooked up.
was a relatively well-traveled adventurer, and this was her own weapon, her own either a prize she won or something that she made or something she just modified.
He's gonna just basically, in his spare time in the next few days, just practice using Pass That Trace. He's never used magic before.
Yeah.
So
So you'd have to restring it, yeah? It didn't have a string when we found it.
Yeah, it didn't have a string on it when you found it, but it's relatively simple to get a string for a short bow,
Sure,
get it
you just
sized.
transfer the one he has already.
Possibly.
yeah, you can just rewrap it.
Yeah.
On
Yeah, so you can get it
the
strung.
top of when he does the rewrapping of his bow, where there's the loose string that he has to tie up to make work, he's gonna put the first bead that he carved.
Okay. You have the first attempt of carving, hanging from what is potentially not, if not quite a masterwork, certainly the masterwork of somebody's life.
Got a macaroni painting saying next to Da Vinci here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, more or less. It might not be Da Vinci so much as a very talented hobbyist's work, but it is the comparison.
Sana will, at some point the next day, walk by, notice it, and throw up a bit in her mouth, but not say anything.
That's always my goal.
As she will. All right. Now that that's been handled, the end of the month comes. The moon waxes back towards full. And on the 29th, as you watch the sunset, you know that this is the night, and it is time.
All right.
Head into the forest, back to the shrine.
As they walk off, Sana will kind of flip through her notes she probably took on the way the shrines work.
Yep.
And goes, okay, who's stepping up to this thing?
Feel like I should.
Is this a magic one or a melee one or
It's a double.
It's an
flash.
anything. It's a whatever you choose.
Okay. In that case, Kate Michael. I think we all share it. None of us were especially useful for this one.
Sorry, say that last bit again.
I think the two who are most useful would be Alaris and you all, Sana. That being said, I feel like it's reasonable that we all use it now.
The difference is that a 4-person is relatively less beneficial than a 3-person or above.
Didn't we decide that the most efficient was 4 or 2?
In terms of experience, but in terms of bonuses, like Alsana gets a cantrip if there's 3, for example.
Okay.
On the same thing, first level spell for anyone if they take the magic side. The bonus for the physical side of it on the 3 and above. What was that again? Sorry.
Physical bonus on 3 people, plus 5% to your maximum health, permanent, and 10 temporary hit points until they are spent in battle. You've got resistance to non-magical weapon damage for 2d6 days.
And the 2 for physical was much better, I think.
Plus 15% current maximum health, permanent. Gain permanent resistance to 1 non-magical damage type, so
There
bludgeoning, bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing.
Yeah, so 2 or 4 is the most useful.
Yep. Or 3 if you're magic, 2 if you're physical. Because a cantrip.
Well, I mean, for both.
No, because you get a cantrip at 3, and you don't get a cantrip at 2.
At 2, you get a first level spell,
And
but you use
get
your
a second
own.
level.
Yeah, you use your own spell casting stat for it. For the cantrip, you do have to use the stat of the list it came from, so you are limited.
That still means, for example, Calder could get an Eldritch Blast.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Essentially.
Yeah, if you use charisma, but yeah.
Yeah.
I am charisma.
Paladin is charisma.
I'm sorry, Calder. I thought you said. Also, sorry.
Lars could get something as well from like Paladin or Bard.
Well, there's no
Like
paladin cantrip.
thunderclap or
Yeah,
something.
paladin cantrips.
Yeah.
First level or second level though.
Yeah, if only 2 people take the boon from this this shrine, this ritual, then yes, it would be a first level spell.
I mean, Kane would love to do a physical one of anything. So whatever amount you guys are happy with, I'm
Who's
fine
going
with
to
waiting
go
too.
with-
If you guys,
Who's going to go with magic? Who's going to go with physical?
I'm gonna go with magic.
Magic.
Okay.
sweet.
Because if we can get, Kane's obviously going physical, yeah.
Yeah, just the reason I say it's because if Kane could get resistance to like piercing or slashing,
Yeah, that's very much what I'm thinking on.
yeah,
Also, he needs a nice one considering he missed the last one.
yeah. I don't mind if I don't get a huge one, only because I got the 2 magic items for this, so it's not a big deal.
Yes, but it's the fact that if you're going here, you better get a frickin' resistance.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait to next one. Is what I mean. If I need.
Okay, hold on, real quick. Also, what are the next ones we're looking at in terms of magic or physical?
We were planning to
Because
go
Green River is
to.
magic. The Dragonspine is magic. The
So
Greenwater
it'd
Wood
be a
is
while
physical.
before another physical one.
Yes.
So I would almost recommend like 2 physicals go up.
Sure. I mean, if we could get Kane and Calda, like one takes piercing, one takes slashing, or something like that, that could be like crazy
More
good.
than anything.
Yeah, but
Well, yeah, something along those lines. Like,
Yeah.
really
I don't know. I just kind of want to take one from.
we're gonna say
maybe
magic one is next. So if you're willing to take a magic for the next one, like,
Also,
Yeah, there's-
again,
yeah.
Polaris
It's just
agreed.
it's just that it's the shrine. It's not the greed. It's the shrine outside of Walton. So I
yeah,
just feel like
that's what I'm more inclined to agree to.
yeah, that's what I'm more.
I mean, it doesn't give any specific bonuses,
No, but it's thematic.
I suppose. But also,
I mean,
also
it is-
looking you with a side glance because you agreed that last time you would.
Yeah, I wouldn't,
take
but
at
yeah,
least
no.
one. It doesn't have to be this one,
Yeah.
but at some point you have to drop one because you showed up with
Yeah.
doing the first combat.
Yeah, I'll drop one. It's just
And
this
people are
one.
You know,
sad-
again,
and
I don't mind
sad
if
about it.
I don't mind if Kane skips this one. Like I don't mind waiting for the next physical one. It might be a while, but
No, but that's the thing is I'm not concerned about who's here and who's not. I'm concerned about how many are going up.
well, it's 2 if we're gonna deal with physical and 3 if we're not. Because if Kane doesn't go, it makes more sense to put all 3 of you in to get magical. But if we're going with someone doing physical, it makes sense to do 2.
Hey, you guys can each choose your own. One person you can each say I'm physical, and another
Yep,
person goes
that is what-
I'm magic.
Yep.
You are
No,
not.
I know, but it's if anyone's doing physical, it makes sense to do 2 so we can get that permanent resistance.
Whereas everyone is going magical, we could do 2 or 3 to get the cantrip or the first level.
If you guys are willing, we could
What's
do.
the stat bonuses per?
I
The
think
stat bonuses are just across the board, right?
The XP.
No,
It's
the bonus to ability score.
that's the XP and ability score thing, and that varies depending on how many people.
Okay, yeah.
What is it? What is it for 2?
Okay.
We
If
can deal
3
with it.
people,
Okay, sorry.
I'll just do the ability score thing. If 3 people go in, 1 ability score improvement point. You get +1 to 1 of your scores. If 2 people go in, it's 2 improvement points. So basically, it's the ASI from one of the like the level 4 increase or whatever.
And that can be your.
Or you can take a feat of your choice. However, it has to be a feat some way thematically tied to whether you took the physical or the mental stat. As
You
does the stat.
You can't take a magical.
Yeah.
Oh, what's it?
Yeah, you can't go for the physical bonus and say, and I'm going to use this point to bump up my charisma. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
You can't go
Okay.
on fucking heavy armor master and also magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't take
Exactly.
magic and. Can you argue sharpshooter or no? That's a physical thing.
No, because
Sharpshooter's physical.
there's like magical
Yeah,
sharpshooter or
it's
something like that.
physical.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I just had a thought.
Spell sniper.
Yes.
Could we do 2
Fair enough.
with Alaris and Kane? Because if Alaris gets a first level spell, it's a warlock spell, and it goes up to 3rd level.
No, because it is
Or
a
is it just a
first
once per
level.
day?
It is a once per day. You can
Yep.
cast it innately once per day using your spell casting stat.
Gotcha. And that can be of any spell you want, basically, right?
Yep, from any
Uh,
list.
Yeah, so Alaris, do you want basically a magical secrets from Bard, but better? Just you get to use it once per day?
Sure.
Because you can get some like really fun ones.
Yeah.
Like you can get like Identify if you wanted, because that could be very useful.
Yeah, that could
But
be
it's just a
useful.
spell you don't have to worry about a slot for.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely go for that. Yeah.
Yeah, are you guys okay with that?
Okay, so who's going
Yeah.
up?
It'd be Kane and Alaris, I think.
All right, for 2 people.
Yeah, that way Kane can get his
2 people.
thing, Alaris can get a first level spell,
Mhm.
and then Kane gets catch up experience too.
And also, both of you would get the 2, so possibly a feat.
Yeah.
Or if Alars wanted, he could get sharpshooter with the physical and then get a resistance to something.
Yeah, I could do that. I could do that actually as well.
Yeah. If you do that, you do
I
not
would
get
love
the
to get
first level
sharpshooter
spell.
right now.
You do
Yeah,
not get.
I don't
Okay.
I don't mind not getting the first level spell. It's just that if I could get sharpshooter and also like a boost to dexterity, then yeah, I could do that as well.
It would be sharpshooter or the boost to dexterity.
Oh, okay, yeah. So sharpshooter and then
You would be getting sharpshooter, and then you would be getting a boost to your maximum health and a resistance to non-magical choose piercing, slashing, bludgeoning.
okay. So Kane, do you want to take piercing or slashing?
We can each take whatever, it doesn't matter. I'd recommend you take
Yeah.
piercing,
Yeah,
because you
because
take
yeah.
range damage a lot more.
Yeah.
I'd say
I'd be
slashing
taking
for Kane as well, because slashing is just very common.
Yeah, so I'll take piercing since I'm a ranged fighter, and then Kane can take. Then
Whatever.
we'll both be taking physicals. So yeah, then I'll take a physical one.
And also, Asana is gonna like stop you in front of this before you walk up, and she's like, "You're skipping the next one. You got that?
Yes, I got that.
Good." And she oh, by the way, something on your shirt.
Dang it! Get that enough. Get that enough for my kid.
Do you fall for
Kane just looks at Alsana like, really?
My kid does that to me. What the fuck?
And you
And
fall for it.
And she looks over. It's like, Look, our dad didn't exactly let us do much of this. I'm making up for it with
Fair
this
enough.
dad.
Okay.
You did that to me for 6 years.
Yes, and I'm gonna do it to my dad.
Is he?
So you're
Okay,
making me feed
I'm not even
that?
gonna. I'm not even gonna approach that, Alsana.
What is happening right now?
You
Where
see
are
him as
my
a father
hands?
figure, Alsana?
What did you say?
You see him as a father figure, Alsana? It's half tied to.
Brooklyn, that
If
guy.
anything, I see him as a bother figure because he bothers me so
Okay,
much.
now is it? No, we're not quoting the
Treat
entire
your father
thing.
with some respect.
We're not.
That's,
Okay.
That's going in incorrect quotes.
It already is. Okay.
Okay, so Kane.
So, have we
Laris.
sorted out who's doing? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Kane
Oh,
Nalaris,
I just.
but physical
Oh, this is gonna be
ones.
fun because Kane can put it into his strength because he now has a +1.
Plus 10 damage, baby!
All right.
Oh shit! Sharpshooter with that Hexblade's curse is crazy, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So, as you debate who is taking the boon from this particular shrine as you approach it, and as you stand before the cool, still waters,
Can also at
the
least do the words.
quiet trickle, barely audible, the people who are actually performing the ritual have to be the ones saying the
Oh, okay,
words.
so it's not like an unlock and then step forward. It's a.
It's a unlock as you stand there.
Okay.
So, as Alsana and Calda stay just a little bit back in the clearing, Kane,
The unicorn horn in her hands.
Kane and Alaris, you step forward. The night is clear, calm, still cold, but with a sharp clarity, and there's a lightness to it that promises warmer months, and all the icicles glittering off of the branches of the trees. The snow is just a little bit lower. There's little pockets in it here and there from the on and off again start of a thaw. And as ever, the pool is, despite its shallow measure and the coldness of the water itself, is not frozen over. There's no ice, no snow inside of it. And from the tall rock in the center, the constant stream of water flowing downwards. And it reflects the light of the moon silver, but with a faint edge of blue almost. You're not sure if it's your eyes playing tricks on you, expecting to see some sign of magic, or if it's actually there. It's very faint, and it flicks on and off in the corners of your vision when you turn to look at it too directly. You step up. You speak the words that you were taught. And then the light really is there. It builds slowly and gently. And then it washes up from the shore, up your legs, your torsos, over your heads. And for a moment, you are just two silhouettes, glowing with pale blue light underneath the moon, surrounded by the snow, reflecting it back on you. And it fades in patterns like ripples across you, and then diminishes entirely. You feel stronger, hardier, like you can go out into the world and perhaps not take on absolutely anything, but certainly more than you think you could have before. The night goes still again as the light fades. The water continues to trickle. The moon continues to shine. You turn back to the others, and it's done. So, for Kane, who is slightly lowered leveled because he skipped the last one, you take 4,200 points of experience as the shrine boosts all of your own experiences, all of the things that have built you towards another
Remember,
threshold.
Your ancestry and that you can stand up after you get knocked down.
Oh, wait, I miscalculated. I looked at the wrong block. I'm sorry. Take that back. It is actually 100% of the gap between current and next level, so you have...
That's less.
You've got 5,600.
5,600.
Yes, it is the total gap from base level 5 to base level 6.
It should be 7. Oh, the gap. Right, gotcha.
Yes. So 5,600. You also get your 2 ability score improvement points in a physical stat or a feat of your choice that is at least arguably physically tied.
I'm gonna put it in strength, because ability score improvement for level 6 fighter is also a thing.
Okay, yes. Very good thing. Very good thing to do. Keep in mind that these, into the future, keep in mind that these ability score improvement points only go to the max of 20. They don't actually increase that. So, yeah. Also, what is your current level 5 maximum health?
I used level 5. Okay, it's 44.
Yeah. It is your current max as of entering the shrine. So,
Gotcha.
you add, rounded up, another 7 hit points to your maximum health permanently.
Okay, and then average for the level up, right?
Yep. And
So
then
that's an additional.
note your resistance to 1 non-magical damage type.
Alright. I think. And it's only non-magical.
Yes.
I
So
take
if
bludgeoning.
Okay. Yeah. So if something with magical weapon that deals bludgeoning damage hits you, you still take the total amount. If it is a non-magical bludgeoning damage, however, you get to go down half.
Gotcha.
Ilaris. For the 6 to 7 gap, because you are level 6, you get 9,000 experience points. Probably levels you up. What is your current hit point maximum?
45.
45, okay, probably another 7. Yep, another 7 hit points maximum, permanent. And then you're taking your sharpshooter, and permanent resistance to 1 non-magical physical piercing slashing.
Piercing. And that's 9,000.
9,000, yes. You guys, it is late. You're not going to make it back to Walton within the night, within the day.
Question, sorry.
Yes?
Is there also a temporary HP thing, or no? Is that for a different?
No, that is for the next one down. That is for if 3 people participate.
Okay. Like I,
You can see
do you mind if you take? Go ahead.
You can see the how good 2 versus 3 is.
Yeah, just making sure. After we get right to the long rest, do you want to take a quick break so I can just update the sheet?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, if you guys are you guys taking a long rest here, or are you heading back somewhere?
Oh, we have to do the ritual at like midnight, right?
It is late. Yet at the very least, the moon has to be up and preferably somewhat high.
Out. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be visible. Cloud cover isn't going to stop you, but
Also,
Oh, that would suck if the weather just stopped the ritual.
Oh my god, that'd be the worst.
Insanely useful.
Oh, I get another Eldritch invocation.
Boy.
It's a long rest, like at the shrine, right?
As they walk back down the shrine, also just looking at Kane like, you look more leathery?
The word you're looking for is tone, and thank you.
No, I'm looking for leathery.
Leather.
Do you moisturize?
I'll take it. Hey, called it.
Yeah.
Punch me.
Alright. Called him a punch cane.
alright. Probably no need to roll, because presumably actually roll to see if you crit. Just give me a d20.
That would be hilarious.
I do not.
Okay. Regardless, you hit him. What is your strength modifier?
+4.
So you deal
Jesus.
5 damage,
Have to.
but halved to 2. So,
Really?
Kane, it hurts.
Yep.
But
It's kind of taken it back, like, oh, it hurt way more than I thought it would. Good shot.
So, Devin, I leveled up, so that means not only did I get sharpshooter from this shrine, but I also learned darkness and got the devil's sight invocation, so that
Oh,
gives me
shit.
advantage on all those.
That is a good combo.
Ooh, game over, man.
Welcome to min-maxing.
Right.
Welcome to min-maxing.
Fucking Fantasy SEAL Team 6 right here.
Yep. As you bed down for the night, Elaris, you don't quite have a patron dream in the way that you know them. It's not that direct. It's more like regular dreaming, but it seems to be a theme in that dream that you can't see. You're blinded, but you're not wearing a blindfold, and there's nothing wrong with your eyes. You get the sense that you could see. You should be able to see, but it is pitch black no matter what. And as you're groping around in the dream, you get this thought in your head passing through, of course I can see. And the dream shifts, and you look around, and oh, you do see. And you know, in the way of knowing in dreams, that it is still pitch black. It is still utterly lightless to the point that even dark vision could not help, that there is a smothering quality to this. And yet, despite that, your eyes are piercing through it, and you wake up in the morning, maybe not quite knowing that it was meaningful, but you'll find out.
Also looks over at him as they're getting up. It's like, Lars, look towards me real quick.
Yeah.
And she kind of like walks up and like grabs his face like under his chin with her hand,
Mm.
and like smushes the cheek and just kind of like turns his head to the side.
Mm.
Here, come in the light, and she like drags him over.
Mm.
Just kind of like tilts his head up. You. Was there a tabaxi in your bloodline?
No.
She kind of like shifts the grip where it's like one hand on the side of the head and just kind of like turning it. It's like, you have this. You know when you see a cat in the night?
Yeah.
Its eyes light up. Here, let me show you. And she puts into a cat.
Mm.
Mildly concerning. All right.
And the cat looks up at you at like a 45-degree angle, hopefully catching the light.
Yeah, you look down, and like the entire area of the pupil in particular just catches light and reflects kind of that blue color, the teal almost.
Just back up. It's like that. Just a little bit.
Oh. Well.
I'm surprised I didn't notice it before.
I've never. I don't think I've ever had this before. Have I looked at my own eyes at this point? Looked into a reflection or anything? Look into my own.
Well-
Look into my eyes.
Well, thinking about it, Kane did pull out mirrors from his bag about a month ago.
Also, there's
Yeah.
a body of water right beside us.
There is, but the mirror might be more reliable.
Kane.
Kane still has the mirror, so yeah.
Yeah, Kane. Can I get that mirror that you pulled out of your pouch like a month ago?
Yeah, sure thing. Hold on. Is it midnight yet or no?
It says morning.
Damn it. Okay. I was gonna use.
It might be
Yeah.
the dark. It might be the darkest part of morning, but
Yeah, that's okay. Okay. He'll pull up the mirror he got.
yeah, Elaris, you take the mirror, you look in it, tilt your head a few different ways, tilt the mirror. At the right angles, Alsana's right. There is just this faintest flash of reflective light in the darks of your eyes.
Whoa.
It's not overt. Your eyes probably don't, per se, glow with it. But it is a little odd.
Hmm.
Kane, of note, when you woke up this morning, there was a bit of razor vine growing all around you. You have been dealing with this all month. Typically, when you sleep indoors in the inn, as long as there's no plant life around, or at least no recent or freshly cut plant life, it doesn't seem to happen so much. But, the one day that somebody gave you a fistful of flowers and you happen to lay them on your bedside table, you woke up with them sprawling with Razorvine. And if you've ever camped outside for any reason during the month, you've also woken up with this. Frankly, it seems to happen sometimes even when you just take a short rest. You'll get up and there'll be a little sprig of Razorvine just growing where you were sitting.
Or someone like jump up and it's like, what did you? And she like kind of like pushes them over. And it's like, what did you? This can't be here.
This has been happening for a while now. You've just now noticed.
Yeah,
Forgot about it. I was gone for a bit, and she just like
that.
burns the ground on the Razorvine.
I've been hanging around my wife. I hadn't really
Not
seen
you,
this.
Alaris. Alaris, I understand why you wouldn't notice something, but Miss Alsana here, her job is noticing things in particular plants.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't think, and she just kind of like again like torches the Razorvine on the ground.
To be fair, you probably also haven't been camping out with Kane.
That as well.
But
Yeah.
it took us 2 days to get to this part of the forest, didn't it?
That is true. So yes, you might have just missed it that first morning.
It slipped her mind in the evening. Everyone was tired from the ritual.
Yep.
Can you put that thing in your bag or something?
It's in the bag.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter. It just sprawls out.
Alsana, if I had to take an uneducated guess here, I think it's because it's magic.
You're not sleeping by any nearby groves, okay? The whole reason that tree grew in the first place was because this place is great, and I have just enhanced it with even more magical, natural energies within the soil. You are not planting a single sprig of that wretched stuff here.
Well, if you can figure out a way to stop it, I'd appreciate it.
She like looks up with the of the fire from her hand.
Went from growing in the first place, but that works too. You know I can just do that with a torch in the morning if you need.
I don't believe you're thorough enough. She like starts kind of like picking through the dirt and pulling out some of the roots.
It's your chore then.
Okay.
You
You are kind of digging down under snow in order to get to the dirt, but there's less of it now. And most of it, and a lot of it was kind of broken up by the sprouting of these things.
Also, she was just firing it for 30 seconds, so...
Yeah, that helps.
Good question, Arno, by the way.
Yes.
Are you okay with Orcish Fury as a feat? It's an Arthurcana.
Yeah, probably. That sounds like it's likely physical. Is it a kind of a
Oh,
range?
this is from my level up one.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I just mean because it's on Arthurcana. +1 to strength or constitution. Once per rest, extra damage dice on an attack. Immediately after I do the don't die thing, one weapon attack.
Probably. I think that sounds like something that ended up in Xanathar's.
I think those things are in there.
Let me look at the one in Xanathar's and see if it's any different. For all you know,
I'll just do Xanathar feats. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they added any of the, or I think they combined the two orc ones into something else.
I'm pretty sure
Just forgot what
Xanathar's
it was
has
called,
two orc things. Orcish Fury is in Xanathar's.
Is or isn't?
Is.
Yeah, Orcish Fury and Orcish Aggression, right?
Strength and Constitution by 1 to a max of 20. When you hit with an attack using simple or martial weapon, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice an additional time, added as extra damage of the damage type. You can only do that once per short or long rest. And then immediately after using Relentless Endurance trait, you use reaction to make one weapon attack. So yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my thing says on Arthurcon, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. It probably started out that way, but it's Xanathar's now, so it is definitely allowed. Yes?
Ariel, can I do a small, flavor retroactive thing?
Possibly. Probably.
On the way here and also on the way back. Well, I guess first of all, would Sleeper Shroud be common at all in this area?
It's kind of hard to tell given the depth of the snow, how much it covers. So you don't have a lot to go on in as far as that goes.
Could she at least keep an eye out if she happens to see any, under a branch or something like that?
Let me go ahead and...
She's basically using it as a shorthand for any bodies that were left unburied.
Yeah. Well, it's vaguely possible, but it would be extremely difficult to try to find. Yeah, you guys are just scooting along, and again, there's snow covering everything. A lot of stuff is plant life is asleep essentially for the winter. It hasn't yet woken up and started sprouting again. So I'm gonna say, given the circumstances, probably not.
Aw.
You know, it's a possibility, but it would take you actually digging up snow and searching, and at that point you're playing Minesweeper with it almost, without the risk of blowing up.
Where's the fun?
In that case,
Yeah, if you want fun, look for Dittany.
Fair enough, I guess.
He has no idea.
The name suggests enough.
Oh, you have no idea. Yep. So, yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, it'll be something she'll kind of regularly keep an eye out there for when they're in the woods, just in case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not gonna turn up much, honestly.
Yep, no problem.
It tends to grow more against, you would know, it tends to grow more against the ground than up on trees.
Yeah, I just meant if there was any cover that was like under a fallen tree trunk or something like that, like where there was less snow. But yep, I get.
Even then, you would be very deliberately
No
poking
problem.
up. Yeah.
Right. In that case, she's gonna look up and think. So, are we going to return to Walton one last time, or should we head for Sorghum?
I think we'll leave it up to Alaris.
One last trip to Walton, I suppose.
Family stuff, I assume.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while before you see him again. Makes sense.
I suppose I could give Green Bottle one last visit then. This is a special occasion, but we shouldn't make this a habit. We have things to do when extra time is always nice.
The next one we're heading for, we know exactly where it is, right? Green River?
Pretty much. At the very least, someone was able to put a dot on your map.
Mm-hmm.
They'll start heading back, I guess.
Okay. You go back to Walton. Couple of days to go through the woods.
Actually,
But
if the shroud is a no-go, could you take a look for basically any other plants that might catch your eye that are still around in the winter?
mostly you're finding big trees.
Oh no, you know what? Are there any remains of the Golthius tree when they get back?
There might be shattered remains of a trunk.
Okay, she's gonna take a bit of bark and stick it in a glass.
Okay. Note it down.
In terms of units, what, like 2 or 3 doses worth
Uh,
of this?
Go ahead and say that it's 2 chunks of bark. The glass jar isn't huge. It might fit in your hand, so they're fairly small, but you can pack them in there.
Because that could be fun.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Get back to Walton. Pretty much on the second day of the month of rainfall. On the first day, as you're walking, it does sprinkle a little bit of snow. It's gone cold again, but it's the kind of snow that's very, very light, flaky, and it's being blown about by gusts of wind. For the most part, though, you're sheltered by the trees of the forest. The second day is clearer, just a little bit warmer. You get back to Walton, spend the evening with those you choose.
She's gonna make a quick trip to Green Bottle.
Okay. Go and then knock on the door. There's Seraphina inside, and Shayna's there with her, and they seem to be in the middle of Seraphina kind of guiding the younger girl through grinding up some dried herbs. There's a open cloth pouch sitting next to her, presumably waiting to be filled with them. Seraphina looks up. Oh, hello, dear. Oh, what brings you?
Well, I think my group is going to be heading out back on our journey in a while, so I figured I'd give one last check to my favorite little apothecary in the town.
That's sweet of you. Here, have a cup of tea. She ushers you to the table and pours a cup already from the already steaming teapot. And you've presumably visited before during the month, so you sit, you chat.
She gives a glance over to, Sarah?
Shayna?
Seraphina. Shayna. She just gives a glance over and like a little smirk and like a tap on the forehead.
You get a little glare and a very quick little finger gesture against the mouth for a shush, and then she goes right back to working with the herbs.
I'd ask what you're practicing there.
I've got to make these into a powder. It takes a long time.
What's the powder to be used for?
She looks over to Seraphina. Seraphina just gives her like an encouraging nod, and Shayna closes her eyes. It's in this case with the right. Okay. As you reach over and tap her shoulder, perhaps.
Yeah, just lightly.
Lean across to see what she's doing. Oh, it's for a sleeping aid. You put it in the poultice, along with some others, and it goes under the pillow. And the scents are supposed to give better dreams and help if somebody's having a little bit of trouble falling asleep at night.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems you're learning quite well.
Thanks. And Seraphina, she has plenty more to learn, but she's coming along. I'm pleased. You see a little smile on Seraphina's face, and she ducks her head and continues grinding the herbs.
She'll just, again, a light tap of guidance for whatever she's currently doing.
Okay. And to Shayna's surprise, reducing these to a fine powder goes faster and smoother than perhaps she expected.
Seraphina, my dear, I was wondering if what's your experience in the more, overt magical healing remedies?
Oh, not much, I'm afraid, dear. There's not really magic running in my family. We can't really do any of the, the fancier things you hear of, the potions that bring you back from the brink of death, and the so on and so forth. I'm vaguely aware of certain things that help in that, but I've not really had the need or opportunity to practice them. You need a touch of magic of your own to brew those. Not something I ever learned or pursued or just had the knack for.
But you have a bit of knowledge on the subject.
A bit. I'm afraid it's from a long, long time ago when I was a girl myself and having my own apprenticeship. I pass on what I remember, of course, to Shayna, but it's not much, and, well, frankly, no offense, but she's not got the touch of magic any more than I do. And I'm not sure she's got the inclination for it either. And you see Shayna shake her head lightly over there. Nope, I'm happy just doing this. I don't really need the fancy, and she waves and twinkles her fingers.
Alsana does as well,
again,
but sparks come out.
Yeah. No offense to the resident witch.
I'm glad the Jackie's got around.
What, you weren't aiming for it the entire time?
Oh, I was. I just wasn't sure how successful I'd be.
Well, I don't think that anybody's gonna forget about you in a hurry.
Wonderful. But on that subject, I was wondering if I could maybe use the facilities for, well, you said you've not had much of the opportunity to make anything like that, but I'd like to try my hand at it a bit. And
Well?
I have a few ingredients in my possession that might help, but as for anything else, I've never done it myself either.
Well, I don't really have the fancy lab and equipment and things I've heard of, but if you've got what you need, then by all means. Do you need a mortar and a pestle? I can provide one of those at the very least. I've got a spare one.
I think I do have some dust that needs a finer grinding, yes. As she pulls out a
Could be
little
an
vial of the unicorn horn dust.
Well, that could be an opportunity for Shayna, though. Is this a plant, dear? It's very, very rigid.
It's, Alsana explained the whole thing with the horn to her before, right?
Oh, probably.
Like that, I remember it lightly mentioned that was a thing that she kind of went over and was like, no, I didn't. Trust me in this, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Well, you remember this, don't you, when she kind of pulls out the wand?
Oh, I see.
Didn't want to waste a single bit. And I've heard, here and there that is quite useful in these kinds of things. And I felt it only right to attempt it in the place of the lady who helped me find it.
I find it a little troubling, honestly. But, well, if it was gifted, not stolen, as you say, then surely no harm will come of it, I would hope. Still, she gives a worried look. Perhaps if you need the help, perhaps if you don't want to do it, maybe I should offer my hand for that. She pulls down a mortar and a pestle and gestures for you to pour the shavings in.
I mean, I could as well.
Oh, yes, of course, here. And she'll hand you the...
I don't want to impose and have you do anything you're not quite comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, if you need help with any other part of whatever you're doing, then do let me know, but...
Oh, good. And she pulls out the jar of honey.
Alright.
What do you know about infusing some of this into concoctions?
Well, I know it's a treat stirred into tea. That's, if you have a bad cut or other wound, this tool slips across a hand or a limb, it's usually best to dab a bit of that on after you've cleaned it. It keeps the illness from coming into it.
Proper, basis, let's say, for what I'm going for.
Well, I'm not quite sure what you're going for, but it is a very good and healing thing.
I'm going for a very good and healing thing.
Well, I suppose it couldn't hurt at least to bind it together. Though you'll want to thin it out, otherwise you'll just end up with a crystallizing glob.
Of course. On that, do you have any other, let's say thinner ingredients that might help in this?
always water.
Ooh,
Ah,
fuck.
could have been interesting.
Yep.
But
Uh,
as Alsana sits here and kicks herself for not thinking to bottle any shrine water to play with, she's going to have to do with water from the well or perhaps a little bit of snow melt.
Considering saving this for another day now, specifically because of that. Ah,
Yeah.
Damn it. Alright, we can make do.
Alright, are you continuing on, or are you just grinding the unicorn horn and saving the ingredients?
Could you make like a raw check to see if she knows how beneficial it would be? If she could theorize at least.
Theorize, roll Arcana.
Basically, is it going to do more, or is it going to make it easier for her to make it? I guess is the distinction.
Alright, go ahead and Arcana this, because frankly, I'm not quite sure what exactly you're doing. Aside from putting things into a pot and see what happens. 16? You don't know. In theory, because it's a shrine and it's water, it probably has some kind of magical properties. Whether that makes it easier or more potent, you don't know. You don't know by what degree. For all you know, taking it from the shrine will negate the magic altogether, or perhaps it won't. You've got pretty much nothing to go on as far as historical context or anything of the sort. For the most part, magical theories about ingredients say that the magic remains innate, but there's always that weird such and such plant or even like animal material or the like that once you remove it from its source, you've either got a very brief grace period where the magic remains before fading away, sort of like the lamp finds illumination, or it just puffs out altogether. So as far as prior bases go for this guesswork, it's kind of up in the air. Probability says that it should be good, but possibility says that it might not.
How close is the shrine to Soren rather than Walton?
I want to
Because it
say
is
it
more in
might
the
be a
middle,
little
right?
bit. It's a little bit more in the middle, but it might be a little closer to Soren, just a little bit. I would say that instead of 2 days, it might be more like 1, and it might be. Yeah, I'd say 2 days here, and then about 1 out to Soren.
Alright, and hypothetically, if there was a trip from Walton to Soren,
The Walton to Soren trip is a 1-day trip, and Alsana, to be fair, does shave down some time if she's able to move full pace on her broom. However, it is still full days of traveling. So they would have pretty much another day in Walton before going to Soren, or they'd have a day to spend in Soren if they wanted to rent an inn room.
I have to talk about this party. Should have remembered. Stupid. Okay,
Is something wrong, dear?
just a potential regent that could have helped with what I'm trying to do that I could have gotten but didn't.
Oh. Well, if you need to prepare ingredients now, then you can still do so. And if you need to return, then you may.
We find ourselves short on time. I don't use up too much. She runs her hand through her hair. Alright, if I could ask with help with water and pestle, however, that would be very appreciated.
Well, I can do that if you need it.
I very much appreciate it. Although I will gladly help as well. would you know if Granny would be basically like way better at at such a thing, or?
Granny's had decades and decades and decades of experience with it. However, in terms of reducing something to a fine powder, really it's a little bit more endurance than skill in some ways.
Could one give the advantage to the other, perhaps?
I'm not going to require a roll.
Okay.
It's just gonna take some time. It might take a full day, given that this isn't just dried herbs. It is magical by nature, so it's gonna take a long time. So she's going to be switching off with you regardless.
She'll start with it at least. Because, did Lars basically say he's taking the day for Gage, or Gage in...
Aurora?
Yeah, Aurora. Or is it
yeah,
of...
that's actually what he's doing.
Yeah, Ilaris, one of your party has disappeared to the apothecary and has not emerged.
Oh dear.
Yep. But she seems to enjoy it there when she does go, so probably
Fair
not too
enough.
bad. But it's pretty much the entire day that you have. Any of the party has, really.
Yeah.
Right, last day in Walton.
Yep. Last day in Walton. I would say that since you got back to Walton, probably mid to late in the day on the 2nd, this would be pretty much the 3rd. So you guys are a little bit delayed for starting out if you meant to do it right away. And funny enough, you guys know that the next day is a holiday. The 4th of Rainfall is the Fool's Turn Feast. And that is a day of jests and role reversals, playfulness, jokes are told, pranks are played.
I'm sorry, I have one thing can I retroactive that?
Yes?
I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna assume it's okay, but I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, go ahead and send it to me.
As for this day in Walton, he's fishing the whole day to prepare for the feast. But
Sounds good.
I'll send you the retroactive.
It's not necessarily a feast. It's just called that.
Okay.
There are
fish.
some other traditions. People who tend to labor hard will take the day off and rest, put their feet up. And the wealthy traditionally will go out on foot in plain clothes with a small sack of coins, usually coppers. And it's tradition for them to pay quote-unquote taxes to any child who comes up and demands. Not all of them participate, of course, but those who refuse tend to have reputations as being just no fun, grump on the logs. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And they may well see their homes or businesses splattered with rotten vegetables or refuse by snubbed young ones during a nighttime prank.
Yeah, so not good for the reputation. So
Yes.
I wonder what Alaris does on this day.
Yeah, that is up to you. I'd
imagine being one of the main defense of the guard, he'd get to kick his feet up, but
yeah, it is up to the individuals. However, given that there is that day, let's see. No,
Fuck,
no,
really?
that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
That's fantastic. What are you talking about?
You want to leave that on for Fool's Turn Feast?
Absolutely not, but it works.
Let me see what else there is.
There's always amazing plan. Our standby.
Yeah, there is.
By the way, sorry, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna roll my best case scenario attack real quick. Just I'm curious what it would do.
All right. So, presumably, you guys spend the 3rd of Rainfall, Grand Day. Alsana ensconced in the apothecary, Kane out fishing, Laris spending a little time with your family, Calda spending time as you will. Yep. And,
Alsana,
yes?
Just a side thing, pour over any of the books that, Seraphina has, looking for any mention of healing potions and stuff like that.
Sure, she doesn't have very many, but go ahead and give me a d20 luck roll just to see what your likelihood is.
Right.
As
Alright.
Conrad has fun rolling things.
Big money, no whammies.
I got the number right.
14.
Okay. You see mention of healing potions. You do not see instructions.
Any like guidelines or basis or anything?
Um.
Like not a
There's
step
clear
by
mention
step,
of
but,
there's clear mention of magic being used. It It probably mentions, as it was mentioned before, honey can be used as almost between a reagent and something that helps bind it together, and also makes it just a little bit more palatable.
Alright. Also, we'll ask, Serafina, do you know if there's many apothecaries and the like in Soren itself?
Well, I expect they have at least one. Most little towns have something, though the smaller ones like us, we tend to have just perhaps a midwife, perhaps an herbalist,
And
but at
you're
the very
acquainted
least
with
someone who can wrap things up. Well, not strictly acquainted, I just am sure that they have at least one. A larger town and all that.
I was just wondering if there's anyone you recommended at all, but
I'm afraid not, dear.
it's okay.
I haven't traveled that distance in a long, long time, and the ones I knew before were humans, and, well, the centuries. Well, they were older than me at the time, and centuries not quite right, but I'm sure they would have passed, and if they haven't, they're probably very old
She pauses and like,
for their kind.
do you know much of the what was it?
Yeah, Devin, speak up just a little bit. You are a bit faint.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm kind of muttering myself right there, but
Yeah.
sorry, I'm just scrolling up through messages. Yes, she'll ask you wouldn't have happened to know anyone with the name of Brightmantle, would you?
Not personally, no.
Alright. Just thought I'd ask. Well then. Do they get the powder ground by the end of the day, or?
Yeah. Yeah, you by the end of the day you do have a fine powder of unicorn horn dust.
Alright. Still just the one dosage, but yes.
Yep. But then following day dawns, and those who remembered and were looking forward to it know that it is essentially the equivalent of April Fool's today.
Alright.
And
wakes
those
up,
who
cracks her
forgot,
neck.
uh-huh.
Kane
Yep.
takes a long time getting out of his room in the morning.
Yep. Anybody else got plans? Or fears? Or worries?
He's rooming with Lars or Lars' family.
Aurora get into into a prank war essentially.
You want to get into a prank war?
It's a yearly thing he does with they save up all the pranks of the year that they have planned for this day. Like he's a very big fan of this day. Like he loves what was the day called again?
Fool's Turn Feast.
Loves it so much,
Fool's
doesn't even
Turn
know the name.
Feast, yeah. Because like they both work pretty hard, so they just get to relax and also pranks.
Oh boy, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So Alsana's going to get up in the morning.
Yep.
She's gonna get on her broom.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna fly over to
Fuck.
Alaris's house.
Okay.
His front lawn is going to be ridiculous.
Wow, that's just a big
Oh
move.
my
How
God.
early are you getting up here?
6, 7?
All right.
He's awake by that time.
Oh, are you doing the one action version?
You're, hold on.
Alaris is an early
Hold on.
riser.
You get up at about 6:30 perhaps. As you're heading down into the bar tavern area, you walk past the desk and you see the eldest child of the Copper Kettles, Marigold, kind of sitting on the counter itself, swinging her feet, book propped in her lap. She glances up, says, "Breakfast's on you today." Glances back down. Have fun. Happy Fool's Turn.
Oh, no problem.
You head out, you hop on the broom.
There's a light cackle under her breath.
Of course there is. You head over to his yard. Alaris, you say that you're already up by then. Are you starting your prank war, or what are you up to inside?
My wife.
All right. Aurora wakes up with a shriek as you crack one of the fresh eggs that you saved for the occasion over her head.
Alaris is cackling like a
Yep.
madman, and
And you get a face full of pillow.
I'll sonic control. What do I get a face full of?
Pillow. As she shrieks. Yep, just she whips her pillow out from underneath her. And because the pillow was under her head when you smashed the egg over it, there is a little bit of egg drip that splatters across your cheek, but nowhere near as much.
I am fucking surgical with these eggs.
You have sharpshooter with eggs now.
Tactical egg.
Yes, I'm sharpshooter with eggs now.
Yeah, well, regardless, she did jolt up, so in any event, little egg gets on the pillow and the pillow gets on your face. Alright, in the meantime, as there's shrieking and laughter from inside, and you can faintly hear oaths that someone's gonna get him back. He should just wait. Alsani, you reach the yard. What do you want to do?
She snaps her fingers, and just his yard, nothing else.
It gets
is-
plant growth.
It gets one action plant growth.
Alright.
That's
my
such a dick move, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Alright. He doesn't really have too much of a yard. The houses are more or less right on the street, but there is this edge of what's probably kept as like personal gardens, maybe a little bit
She'll
of
save
grass
the
ends up
gardens.
growing.
She'll save the gardens.
She'll be nice and save the gardens.
Mhm.
It's a little bit hard to tell, but the snow might have gone down in a bit of a warm surge recently, enough that you can see like the outline of stones where a garden would probably be. So you can target the areas just around that and the walkway leading up to the door.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, any of that space is going to have various little seeds and roots and plant matter in it. And just poof, erupting up from under the snow, there is this sudden wild tangle of still out of season plant life that's grown up in this snarl all along the walk path. The areas that are usually kept clear, climbing up towards some of the windows. You have successfully practically entangled the house. So
Alright. Is there any like pedestrians view of this?
at this hour of the morning, not yet. It seems like most of them are inside. They either are eating breakfast or they are not up
Sleeping.
yet, or
Alright, so what did
sleeping.
Alaris see this?
I don't know. Roll a d20 to see how soon you look out the window.
She's just floating above the house waiting.
15. Okay, you don't actually see her do it, but probably not too long later, you happen to look out the window as Aurora is trying to wash egg out of her hair and still swearing that just wait, Buster.
Buster.
As Gage giggles on the side. She's also informed you in no uncertain terms that breakfast is absolutely your job today, since you are going to be since you are being so
I am so far in the dog.
well, no, not so far in the doghouse so much as, well, you are showing you're showing a talent for cracking eggs regardless. You might as well make use of it. But you
So,
glance out the window as you head towards the kitchen area to start up maybe a kettle, maybe a pot, get a pan
John.
out.
John,
Oh, yeah,
you know that Shawn Michaels pose on the ropes?
yeah.
Alsana's doing that on the broom outside your window.
Even I know that pose, you bastard.
I know the pose. I probably showed you that pose.
Oh yeah, and she's doing it.
Fucker. Motherfucker
All right, you
stole
look
my
out the window and Alsana's posing.
Caius, somewhere in another dimension, Caius just sneezed. But
I think in another dimension, Caius just woke up from a really weird dream, but
yeah.
This was a fever dream
Yeah.
imparted by a concussion.
I was
I was
happily married.
The Wicked Witch of the West did what to who now?
What? That's weird. Anyway, so I see out the window.
mm-hmm.
Do
And
you have another tactical egg ready?
you look down, you look out, and there's still snow on the ground. It's still kind of cool out
Honey?
there, but there's plans. I am not coming
honey?
out there to take another egg to the face.
No. No. Truce for now. What? Into the window? What?
She emerges very cautiously, glares at you. Truce.
I point to the window that's been
Yes.
overgrown by plants.
What did you do?
Oh, that was not me. You know full well I'm not capable of that.
I don't know what you're capable of anymore. I woke up to egg in my
Oh.
hair.
For fuck's sake.
Alright, fine. If it wasn't you, who
No,
was
no,
it?
no. I know who did that.
Alsana floated away as she hears that.
Honey, grab the eggs. We're gonna go throw eggs at my new colony.
Good.
Well, alright, but
I approve.
grab that basket. Those are the ones that are, yes, that one. I've been saving those.
Of course you have.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, we're going.
Bring the children.
Yep.
Gage can come too if he wants.
And Gage is going, nah, I got taxes to collect, and holds up a very small pouch.
Fuck, okay.
Alright,
Oh, okay.
Alright, dear, go have fun.
Go collect taxes. Have fun.
your mom and dad are gonna go have fun.
Ah!
You barrel out the door. Alsana has fast speed on the broom, but she did say drifting. So you haven't gotten that far ahead. You hear that bellow, you look over your shoulder, and you see Elaris and Aurora tearing after you. And Elaris is carrying a
Doubles
basket.
my range.
Yep, Elaris is carrying a basket.
Sharpshooter does not double your range.
It does not
No,
double my
it
range, but-
maximums your range.
Max
However,
range.
the max range for an improvised weapon, regardless thrown, is 20, I believe.
Alsana boops
20?
into a garden snake.
I don't know, it's 2060 naturally.
Oh, it is 2060. Okay, so you've got a
So
60-foot throw.
60. I could throw 60 feet.
Alsana boops
Yep.
into a
Egg.
garden snake and jumps into the overgrown grass.
Okay. Poof. You see, for an instant, this squirmy shape in midair, and then rustle, and it's vanished. You know about where it went, but you can't actually see it at the moment. Alsana, as a garden snake in the snow, oh, it's cold. Oh, you're not feeling, this might have been a mistake. You're still okay for now, but if you stay down here too long, you're probably going to start running out of movement speed, among other things.
Sure.
But for now, you're
I
hidden.
can wait.
Alright. Elaris, are you throwing it to the point where she was, or are you waiting?
I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
Tactical
Hold
egg.
your fire.
One of two things is gonna happen. She's gonna get too cold because she transformed into a garden snake in the winter, or she's gonna run down the timing under wild shape, and then she'll just be caught in the bushes, won't she?
Roll me a quick Arcana check, please.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't
could
know.
just
I don't know.
Pick her up.
Yeah, could.
Yeah, you could try and do that. Yeah, you don't.
Grapple
You
a snake.
probably don't know exactly how long wild shape lasts. For all you know, she could be in there all day. Regardless, are you you're just waiting for?
Yeah, I am on stealth. 6.
Oh, you're also
Yeah,
being-
you've got no idea.
Fair enough. All right.
Actually, could you have done poisonous snake?
Yeah,
Just because
You
it's
could've.
something. It's because it has stats, basically.
I was going to use those stats for a garden snake regardless.
Can she stealth out of there?
You can certainly try. D20 plus 3. You're currently moving at a speed of 30 feet per round, but we'll see how long that lasts. So,
For a snake.
Alaris, you very clearly see a rustling movement, and you see
I
a
grab at
green
it.
viney thing. Okay. I would say that's basically a grapple check. Roll athletics, and Alsana, you can roll
Snake
probably
acrobatics.
dexterity. Yeah, D20 plus 3.
8. 7.
Damn it.
You grab, but you manage to get a handful of snow and vine, and the snake's tail just
Fuck.
right out of reach.
Dang it.
Long about another 30 feet, and you're running after it, stooping.
after
You're
it,
able to
yeah.
catch up. I would say that if you guys are dashing, then you're pretty much just in a stalemate of staying just ahead of each other. However, you can only do it so many times.
Yeah.
And Ilaris, what is your Constitution modifier?
+2.
Okay, after a good distance of running around in circles trying to catch this snake, Alsana, you're
Benny
starting
Hill theme starts
tired.
playing.
You're starting to get tired and cold. It's seizing up your sides and muscles. Alsana, go ahead and roll a Constitution check, which on a poisonous snake is just a D20.
Alrighty. 16.
Alright. You're able to keep
Dang.
going one more round. However, this is per round, and Alaris is still okay for this round, so do another D20.
5.
Nope. At this point, you start to flag. You start getting tired. Your speed gets cut down to probably about 20 feet per round, and at that point, Alaris is able to not quite catch up with you and have an action. Not quite, but it's getting close.
Yeah.
If you do another dash turn to keep him dashing, then at that point, both of you need to do a con check. Alsana D20, Alaris just a con check.
Okay, so, yeah.
6.
Mm,
Damn it.
20.
Okay, Alsana.
Dice don't like
Oh,
me
the
today.
cold is a lot. The cold is a lot, and you've been doing too much. And man, if you feel like if you were in your own body right now, you know that you would be panting with exertion. And suddenly, Alaris is right on top of you, reaching down. Go ahead and do another grapple contested.
Oh, man. Okay.
20.
Oh my god.
Natural 20.
Oh! Okay, technically on the contested, nothing changes. Once again, the snaky body whips just out of reach. However, that snake is definitely flagging.
Yeah.
It's not doing too well.
Can she just, like, stop and try her best to, like, hide? Take the hide action in the grass.
You guys have been running all the way around the house probably at this point.
This must be fucking hilarious to watch on the outside.
It is just barely dawn. It is almost still dark out, given the season.
And Alaris is running around the village like a fucking crazy.
What is his wife doing in all this?
She is standing ready with a couple of eggs waiting for a clear shot.
Yes.
So, you can, you move your very reduced, 15 feet, and you attempt to hide. Go ahead and do a stealth check.
So that would be another +3.
Yep.
21?
Alright.
Dang it.
However, go ahead, Alaris, give me a perception check. Yeah.
Turned
Okay.
into a green
You-
snake.
You know this snake is somewhere around here. She cannot have gone far. She was definitely slowing down. You saw her kind of go into this gap in the leaves, but when you get there and root around, she's nowhere in sight. You kind of dig through the snow. You can't feel anything. You're looking hard. With that,
Is
Alsana,
Bella looking through my spells?
Huh?
Is it bad that I'm looking through my spells?
That is entirely up to you.
Alright.
Are
Okay.
you doing anything, Alsana?
She's gonna take a breath.
Yep.
Unshape as a bonus action.
Okay.
Frostbite.
Are we really doing this?
Shit.
Okay. Suddenly,
Really
as Elaris, as you're going through your mental catalog of what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, suddenly, just in this eruption of plant growth and snow, Alsana just about
I whip an
10
egg
feet
at her.
away. About 10 feet away from you.
You weren't holding the reaction.
Yeah, you were not holding an action,
fuck.
technically.
Okay.
She does get off frostbite first. Do a constitution saving throw. This is what we have devolved into.
Okay, yeah, this is what we're doing now.
Aw.
21.
You
Okay.
resist it, and you do not have disadvantage, so you whip an egg at her. Go ahead and give me
Yep.
your d20 and dexterity.
She did take her movement, what she had as well, on that quote-unquote turn, just to
Yeah.
run off.
Okay. Regardless, your movement is only so far, and to be fair, you're still feeling just a little bit of the dregs of the.
Fuck.
Yep. The egg goes into the snow, and there's this little
Life egg.
smear of yellow. And yes, she is absolutely going to take aim because technically she did hold her action.
Yeah,
So,
she did. Come on.
I'm gonna give her a dexterity of +1.
Yeah.
Nope.
Damn it.
I was waiting for her to just whip it at the back of Alaris's head for revenge.
It was a consideration if things had dragged on. However,
I thought we had a truce, honey.
she didn't. She didn't. She aimed at Alsana.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Just letting you know, you would know it's in her character. That was probably on the table at some point. However, Alsana, you are very rapidly getting away. You've got your broom still, if you want to use it.
She will. Hops on.
And she is off. You guys, I will say Alaris and Aurora probably have one more egg each before she is out of even long range.
She druid crafts the... This isn't in character, but she druid crafts the frickin' what's the movie with the horn noise with the car?
I have
I have
no idea.
no idea what you're talking about.
Like Dukes of Hazzard. The do 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 do.
Oh, all right.
Armor class
Alsana
13.
memes across the fourth wall. But yep, 2 more eggs are thrown. One at disadvantage because of long range, the other sharpshooter, but it doesn't matter. She does this little barrel roll on the broom and they sail over her. They would have hit, but she dodged just out of the way.
Alright. Time to bring in the big guns. I go call Kane.
All right, you head
Okay, so
Kane!
in that case, let me describe what Kane did before all this happened.
Okay, first, are you just going up to like the window of the inn where he's staying and shouting, or are you going into it?
I'm going into the inn.
Okay, you go to this door, you bang, bang, bang.
Okay, so let me describe what Kane did.
Yes.
Because he'd be sitting in the bottom of the inn by the time he's done.
Ah, okay.
So he first took some flour, took a bit of water, put it all over his face and the bald parts of his head. Okay, made himself very pale. He then took a shirt, rolled it charcoal. Okay, so it's very dark now. He then took some of the same charcoal, put it through his hair, put it around his eyes, put it on his lips, and braided about 100 shitty beads into his hair. And he's gonna pull a broom out of his bag that can summon things.
Go ahead and give me a
D20 for how good it
d20.
is.
Oh my god.
Yep, roll the d20. Let's see this thing.
Fantastic.
It's a
It
real
works.
nice broom, and it looks kind of like hers. Not quite as
Yes.
sleek. It
She
doesn't
takes
have
it.
like the charm or the bat wings, but there's a similarity of color there.
Well, that's okay. He puts a little bit of fishing line on the end of it, at the very tip, and hangs a couple beads off that too. Terrible beads, not colored.
Mhm.
Awful beads.
He's gonna take the center line of his mohawk and flatten it out so they come on both sides of his head like an inch. He's gonna take a rope. He's gonna tie the 2 loops for his thighs and put the broom in the middle. And he's gonna he's gonna waddle out of the room.
Oh my, he's like, I can't, oh my god.
He strikes a pose with his hip, a hand on the hip, and the other hand just like lays and goes, "What do you need?"
Oh, Sana, you
Oh,
look
that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Whatever.
Yeah, so, Kane,
Who's Kane?
other
Oh,
Alsana.
right, my nuisance of a little brother. What do you want?
Yes, other Alsana.
Said it, not me.
I'm currently waging war against the other Alsana.
Shitty clones.
She,
How can I help?
She's overgrown my she's overgrown my yard, and now we're all gonna pelt eggs at her.
Oh no, I have something better. He's gonna walk out.
Oh.
He's gonna waddle outside.
Alsana, where did you flee? Where
She's
did you
above
flee?
the town, about 100, 200 feet.
Okay, you're starting to see a little bit more activity as people are going out. There's a little gaggle of kids that have met up at one end, and they're kind of going down the street. Some people have come out, adults, and a few of them are sneaking around. Some seem to be going about kind of their day as normal. Others are in elaborate or ridiculous costumes. Anything from as mundane as somebody has turned their clothes inside out or are wearing like their shirt as a pair of pants or something, to somebody has stitched an entire patchwork cloak for this. You see, like the Meadow Crags, the matriarchs rather of that family have come out in very, very simple dresses with little pouches of coins, and they're handing out coppers to the little children. And over from the inn, you see this. Your first impression is an extremely strange gait. Like they're swaying back and forth. Something seems to be swinging between the legs. And then you look closer and you go, wait a second, what the hell is that hair? Wait a second, is that a broom? Hang on a second, is that Kane?
Eyeliner. And he's gonna pull some flour out of his pocket, look up. Does he see? He just sees her floating there, right?
Yeah, about 100 feet up, so out of range.
No, that's fine. He doesn't mean to hit her. He's gonna do like a Kamehameha thing, where he like puts his hand together and pushes it out, and he goes, "Frostbite!" Throws some flour out of his hands.
Alsana.
Oh,
There's
my
a
God.
sound of glass shattering.
And there's just this huge shit-eating grin on his face the whole time.
God. Oh my God.
Oh my
Alsana
God.
just went full stone cold. She's
You
going to
can't
start
smite
running
genius,
out.
you fuck!
Hand into the dust. A little bit of light floats up into the air. A cloud billows out in the
Oh.
area above
Oh
the inn.
no!
Oh my God! He's
Oh no!
with lightning.
You smite your doppelganger,
Jesus
and it is a
Christ.
mighty one.
Facsimile
Oh
of a
my
lightning
God!
bolt.
With the end of the... He's gonna just take it. And just with the end of the broom on fire on both ends. His shirt, like, tattered. And he just goes... Whatever, gods. And he's gonna walk back inside.
Oh my God!
Yep. Beads in your hair clacking with every head toss.
Yep, the hair's only like an inch long, too, because it's just the mohawk flattened out.
Yep.
Like, what's that... Oh my God. There's a rapper I'm thinking of.
God.
She leans back on the broom, just like, that was nice.
Yep. The thunderstorm is still crackling around you that you've called up.
Did anyone see King get literally struck by lightning?
There are people out and about.
Larry
A
does.
couple.
Oh my God!
I think you
There's a couple
smoked a
people
layer
who
of stock.
Hold on, no, okay, no. I'm imagining this fucking scene where Alaris goes in, and Kane's like, I've got a better idea. He walks outside. He walks back inside smoking.
Basically.
Alaris has this dumbfounded.
He is covered in
look on his
charcoal, so
face.
he is highly flammable.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you're having to pat out little flames on your shoulders at this point.
I love the music hyping up for this, too.
Oh my God!
Then he'll walk back outside, holding his sword of thorns.
God.
And he's
What are
gonna
we-
pick up all the little razor vines collected.
Okay.
and he's just gonna like hold it in the air and go, "I declare this town cursed." He's gonna throw the razor vine in there.
Slander.
He's not trying to dodge. He's just
to
taking this.
watch as his character gets slandered by Conrad.
Another lightning bolt strikes down.
Oh,
So
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, he's not trying to dodge. He's not expecting this. So, well, he's expecting it, but he's just taking it.
Yeah. You take another 20 lightning damage. Yeah, 20 and 15. How severely are you hurt at this point?
Oh,
35?
He's not doing great.
Yeah.
He just looks up and he
What
goes,
are you doing?
"Come on, gods, don't you have a sense of humor?"
Alfana, he's not letting up. You've hit him with lightning twice, and he is wavering a little on his feet, but otherwise he has not flinched.
And he's gonna point. Okay, hold on. Can I roll to see if the kid in the watchtower who fell asleep is around?
Oh my
D20.
god.
D20. Give me luck.
Please.
And if not, just tell me who is around.
Yes, he is.
He's gonna point to him with like the stereotypical gay point where it's like the hips cocked and like the ah. He's gonna
He
point
is
to
watching wide-eyed. He's one of those that saw you get hit by lightning twice after making
He's
this
gonna
mockery.
point. He's gonna wink, and he goes, "I know all your secrets."
You see this kid blanch and glance suddenly up at the actual Alsana, and then back at you, and then back up, and then
Oh,
back
don't
at
be
you.
worried about the fake over there.
She
He swallows and
sigh.
backs away.
Oh my god. Lance puts a hand up to his mouth like, oh my god.
Kane's just gonna shovel Lars so he doesn't get smote.
Alsana, what are you doing?
Can she non-lethal lightning strike?
Fuck no, it's lightning bolt.
You can aim off to the side so that it only does half damage.
I want it to hit his feet.
Okay, hit his feet.
Even if
It'll
you
only
knock,
do
I
half.
can. If you knock me out, I can just run this endurance. Not a big deal.
I know, but so 11.
11.
Still conscious.
Yeah. But
You're
not doing great.
Yep, he's gonna second wind.
What an amazing use for a second win.
God.
I've used it for worse. And
So-
he's gonna point up to her. And he's just gonna go, I may seem confident, but I'm secretly just trying to hide the fact that I have some serious daddy issues. And then he's gonna run in.
No!
Can you outrun lightning?
He's
Yes, I
got
can, 'cause I
enough
survived.
movement. He's got enough movement to do it, and so yeah, for the sake of
Blast
flavor,
the
that
front door.
I was gonna say it just smacks at his heels as he runs away.
All right.
Close the
For
door.
the love of God. We've taken
I'm gonna
this
die
so far.
tomorrow. And he's gonna go
There
back
is
upstairs, and he's just
loud
gonna go to take a
rumbling of thunder outside.
as he walks in, covered in just soot. Everything is on fire. Most of his, probably all the beads in his hair are just like little candles. And he's gonna look at the innkeeper and he goes, "I'm so sorry if she burns down your end. I can't pay you back, but it was worth it." And she's gonna go back upstairs thinking,
If she burns it down, you're rebuilding.
I can't promise that'll be soon, but I will do it.
Also, it
You
floats
see,
down over to the
Oh
watchtower.
my fucking.
Yep. The
He's just in his
watchtower.
room, just trying to recover.
The watchtower is currently empty. They've not been keeping up the strict schedule of watches, given the threat that is given the threat has patched.
Where'd the one guy go?
He was down in the street. He was on the
then,
street level.
yeah, she'll float over to him then. Sorry.
Okay.
And she'll tap him on her shoulder and probably like accidentally like static electricity.
Yeah, there's a yep!
Oh.
Jump and spin.
Sorry, and she kind of
Oh,
like shakes
jeez.
her arm off and some sparks go off.
Do you do that really often?
Just when it's him. But I do want to specify he doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
It was a lucky guess. I wouldn't.
God, I hope not.
What, you don't trust him?
I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
Well, today's the day to get back at me.
He looks vaguely nauseous just at the thought.
You did just smite someone 4 fucking times.
As long
Yeah.
as you don't dress up as me. She like gives a pat on the shoulder.
Okay. Well, in that case,
By the
and
way,
he
Alaris,
puts a hand out.
Can't throw an egg.
Taxes?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw an egg now. We're gonna tell
Elaris, as... Okay, Elaris, go ahead and throw your egg at Alsana. Alsana, you just got a request for taxes from this. He's probably not technically a child anymore. He seems to be in the realm of 15, 16, but he's trying.
She reaches in, flips him a silver.
He catches it, juggles it, looks shocked again. Well,
Don't say I didn't do anything for you, honey.
okay, I won't. Thanks.
Good luck with your,
Yeah, okay, yep,
Yeah.
thanks. Thank you.
If you, honestly, I might be back here around a year. If you need help escaping or anything, I might be able to help out.
It's probably not that bad, but, thank you.
Yeah, door's open.
Keep it in mind.
And then the egg
at
hits
that moment,
beside her.
The egg past you. And at that same moment, Elaris, from just behind you and off to your side,
Yes!
there's an egg right in the middle of your face with its trim in hand. Yep.
Oh.
That's like in the ear I got or something. Like,
Yep.
oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's right on the side of the face, and it was hand and all, so it kind of smears a little bit, splattered into the ear, splattered into...
It's on the side of my face, right?
Yeah, kind of that side
Arthur
part of
at
the...
me?
Huh?
Or Arthur this at me, or...
Yes, this was Aurora, and you hear her lean in, and she is right there.
And I'm gonna nuzzle the side that's covered in egg all over her face.
Yep. Okay. So first, when she did it, you hear her go, "Gotcha!" And then as you grab back and start nuzzling, there's shrieking, "No! No! 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 No!
I love you.
Oh, you disgusting slime monster!"
Damn.
And then there's spluttering as some of it gets in her mouth.
And just like walk over to Calda, and I assume in the breakfast room.
After you've cleaned up, presumably.
No, just obliterate.
No. Okay, Calda,
Completely
you have seen
obliterated.
a lot of this chaos. Some of it is still going on in the corner with the egg couple. And Kane wanders over, still smoking, slightly smoldering from several points, blackened, sooty, covered in charcoal, and
Oh, looks versus.
severely burned, it seems.
Do you know how to give a hair trim?
Yeah.
I think she lit my beads on fire. Can you even it out?
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, if there's any way you could make me not be internally bleeding right now, that'd be great. You'll sit down in front of her.
Ariel, can I do a thing?
You can do a thing.
Alsana's gonna fly down. Does the inn have like a basement, like an underground area at all?
It's got a small cellar, mostly for storing various vegetables and spare casks and so on.
You could go down to the cellar.
Okay. Yep. The kitchen is pretty much open so that you guys can make yourselves breakfast.
And she'll go down. She's gonna look for any spiders, cockroaches, or centipedes that might be hanging around the area.
Oh hell. Okay, do you have
Oh no.
do you have anything that would help you with that, or is this pure investigation?
Turn to a bat.
Actually, it would be survival. All right. Okay. Technically, I'd say they count. So, yep. All right. You cast speak with animals. And you call out to them. All right. Let's see.
She'll cast guidance on herself before she does so.
Okay. It was gonna be more luck roll that I just did than
Alright.
a skill check after speak with animals. Actually, yeah. Go ahead and do survival with guidance in that case.
Alrighty.
as you're sifting through, trying to find the places where they'd be most likely to congregate, following any webs,
13.
seeing if they're occupied. Yeah, that probably fits in with the roll I just made. Yeah, you find about, I'd say you find 2 cockroaches and a spider.
Alright. And she'll kind of give him the talk and ask him to scamper up her hand.
Alright,
I have got some...
you... Okay.
I've got a bit of, food you lot might enjoy.
Little twitchy feelers. You understand that that's interest.
I just need you... Well, I'm going to direct you to where it is. I can bring you up if you'd like. Don't worry, I don't eat things like you.
Twitchy interest, a little skepticism, but perhaps. Do a quick persuasion check.
Alright. Would it be animal handling?
I'd say that you're actually speaking with them, rather than just trying to guide them as, I think the difference here is that you were trying to persuade them outright. You're trying to speak with them. You're not trying to, guide a horse or a cow or something without being able to communicate directly.
Okay.
So-
If you say so.
Do you have proficiency in animal handling?
She does not, but she has a +4.
Yeah, it would be... I would say it's still a charisma check, because you're trying to, force of will sort of thing, do that. If you'd had proficiency in animal handling, it would have allowed you to add it, but...
Right.
Basically, it's animal handling as a charisma. Alright, add your guidance.
20.
That's good, 20. Yeah, they're on board.
Alright. Picks him up, walks up to the upstairs.
Mhm.
Walks over to Kane's room.
Uh-huh.
Walks over to his bag.
Mhm.
Tries to
My
follow
bag
his-
is not in my room. I'm sorry. It is never in his away from him.
No, just anything at all.
Okay.
Does he have anything out?
Ready access pouches. You probably do, honestly. Just in order to be able to get to things very quickly and easily.
I mean, he probably has like his quiver or something upstairs, something like that. Yeah.
Yep. He's just gonna look for if he has any underwear.
Kane, do
roll-
you have spare clothing, and do you keep it outside of your bag of holding? Is there anything
gonna
you
be
might have
straight
left
up with
on your
you.
bed?
I'm just gonna roll to see if he wears underwear.
Bloody hell, okay. That's something worth
yeah,
just
he
finding
does.
out. Okay, was it low or high? Okay.
Yeah, he does. Only because in the swamp, it's not useful.
Yeah, but it's also winter and you're further up north. Probably a good thing to have.
Not true. Long johns. Again, I don't see him keeping anything except for like quivers outside of the bag.
When you changed clothes for your charcoal thing, did you leave anything in the room? Or did you just pack everything away?
I'll say for the sake of this, sure.
Alright. She's gonna set them down on like a nearby table.
Mhm.
Reach into her bag. Grab a little handful of honey.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Okay. Okay, so you've put honey in his pants.
This is
And you-
specifically to spite Conrad, isn't it?
Let
Yes.
them go.
You just want another cockroach monkey.
Hey, spiders or centipedes would have worked.
Oh no. Alright. Yeah. They're gonna sit and enjoy. You don't know how long it'll last. Probably a good bit. But having accomplished your sabotage,
And
presumably you leave the room.
yeah, and kind of as she goes, like, don't be afraid to check back here for more. You never know, there might be some bit more around here. And she walks out.
Okay. Calder, are you up to anything today?
If Kane noticed, Calder's hair was in a bit of a bigger braid just across the top of her head in the middle, and the sides are sort of slicked back and just waiting for him to notice.
Oh, nice. I
Hey,
assume
how
once he gets
observant you feeling?
I mean, he's got a passive of 14.
Okay. Then yeah, you might be a little bit lightning struck, literally, a little shocked.
It
at
might be
first,
like when he comes down to ask for the haircut, he kind of looks at her and goes, "Yeah, wait a sec."
Happy full turn face. Full turn face.
Actually, it looks better than mine. Good job.
Alright, now let's get that out of your hair.
Yeah, mine's currently on fire, so it's not hard to be better than mine. Thank you. He's gonna like unwrap the broom from between his legs and put it next, and then sit down, let her fix his hair.
Goodness.
all right.
Calder just did a goofy mom joke.
Alright. I'm gonna check. Look through my spells, see if there's anything else I want. You know what? Alsana will go float around the town, giving out taxes.
Okay. Yep.
See who,
You've got
see who has
you've
the
got various
gall to walk up to her.
demands. Oh, Gage is right there, and Robert is in tow.
Mhm.
Gage has gotten fairly used to you.
Okay.
Those two are some of the few who think that you're actually pretty cool.
Alright.
I lived with her 15 years.
Be nice to my kid, Alsana.
So yes, you get two little things going up to you for taxes.
She like looks down from the room. It's like, oh, it's you two.
Taxes!
Hmm.
Come on, you gotta pay your taxes!
Maybe.
Gotta pay your
Don't be
taxes or
dick
we
to my
tomato your room.
Don't be a
Alright.
dick to my kid, Alsana.
Alright. But, how about this? I'll give you a little extra bonus. Just, if you see any other eggs sitting around and... Well, I mean, you saw what your dad did this morning.
Yeah?
I mean,
I know where the eggs are.
yeah, I mean... Your mom
You're
didn't
bribing my kid to
Your mom-
egg me.
Your mom didn't even have a chance to wake up, really. That's just unfair.
Kinda is.
So, you know what you need? You need to be the little justice maker.
Alright, am I getting the eggs and doing something, or am I giving them to you?
What do you want to do?
If I give them to you,
I've already
Then can
checked
you-
today.
Yeah, but you've got cool magic. Can you do something with that with the eggs? Can you, like, fling them from real far away, or sneak them up invisible, or magic them into his hair? Can you magic them into his underwear?
She like rubs her chin, wonder like so happy with the talk to the
Oh
is
god,
thinking.
you've granted Alsana the gift of my child's imagination. What have you done?
I like the way
You set the
think.
example first. Yeah.
And so she'll first go in, 3 copper to each of them.
Alright, they take them very happily and add them to their little coin pouches, which are slightly jingly already.
Alright.
Alright,
What?
where do we bring you the eggs?
I think your dad's over at the inn right now.
Okay,
But I'll tell you what,
so
I'll each give you one. If you hold out your hand, I can make them glow pink. Him with it, he'll glow pink.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You're
Alright.
you're
we're gonna do
egg-
this.
You're
And,
gonna glitter egg bomb me.
and yep. Gage
Oh my
and
god.
Robert
This is the
scatter
greatest
off.
session.
back to the Tunderfist house. Kind of struggle through some plants to the front door, disappear inside, and emerge again just a minute or two later, each clutching a pretty solidly sized egg in their hand. Struggle back through the plants, run over to you, hold them up.
You two have done very good. Yes, very
Alright.
fire on the 2 eggs. A bright pink.
Right. Yep. For the sake of this, it normally wouldn't work this way, but I will allow the glow to transfer for this specific
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So. Alright. And Gage
If not, she'll
and
just use another spell slot of it just directly on Alaris when they throw him.
that's fair. That is very fair. Gage and Robert
Oh dear.
go rambling off through the town towards the inn, occasionally trying to stealth sneak and shushing each other and giggling.
She taps the guidance on Gage.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You can't do guidance because fairy fire guidance pulls concentration.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So. Yeah, they're not very stealthy. Elaris, to be fair, you are currently busy laughing because you're continuing the egg war a little bit with Aurora, though you've run out of ammunition by now, and
Yeah.
at this point, Aurora's
We're both
just
already covered in
Yep.
egg.
Aurora's just, well, I guess we're not eating those. Good thing I saved some.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good. Ah,
So you hear giggles from the window, and you turn just in time for two little pat pat. So we're gonna try a 1d20 minus 1 and a 1d20 minus 2 for their stealth roll for throwing. Oh! 13! Does that hit?
no, it does not. But I'll let you know what?
because it's surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't stealth very well. But I will roll 2 more d20 just to see if any get better. So does an
Holy
18 and a
shit.
15 hit?
Oh, they both hit.
You see
And Alsana
two
will float over
glowing
nearby.
pink eggs impact you right in the middle of the chest.
She'll cast it again.
Yep,
Oh my
and
God.
you can try to make a dexterity saving throw, because technically that is how that works. Okay. Nope, and you are glowing pink.
Oh my god.
Maybe a little got on Aurora, just like on the shoulder or something.
Yeah, technically it's a radius, so she's got to do,
Yeah.
yeah, she's also pink.
Oh my god.
And you hear a shriek of laughter from the window, and two little set of feet through the
I
snow.
run after Gage and I pick him up in a big old bear hug while it's still covered, absolutely
He's just screaming.
plastered with egg.
You hear him screaming, "Run, Rob, run! It got me! It got me! Save yourself!"
Alsana swoops by on the broom and offers Robert a ride.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
Robert makes a very quick getaway on the back of the witch's broom.
And there's just
Poor
she
Gage.
moves off.
Oh god.
She
Ah,
sets him down like a block over.
All right. And he looks up at you and, "You'll save Gage, right?"
I don't know. Dads are strong, but
He's a slime monster. You can take down monsters.
They're strong.
you know what? You're right. And she flies off.
Fucking, you're so easily coerced, Ilsana.
Well, it's not coercion so much as they're just telling her stuff she hasn't realized she wants to do yet.
Of course.
All right, you get back, and Gage is still squirming in the arms of an egg-covered Alaris. Probably he
Yes.
has no trouble holding on to him, but let's go ahead and see if Gage slips out. That's a 10. I expect that you can grapple better than that.
Does he have advantage for being a dad? And it's his child.
He has advantage, yes, because size difference. Go ahead and advantaged athletics check. If you fail this, then it's the egg's fault.
Zoop.
Yep.
14.
Nope. You've kept hold of him. That first one, yeah, it was a little close for a second there, but you held him. He's a
Okay,
wiggly
good.
little bugger.
Of course
All right.
he is. I know my own stuff.
Yeah. All right, Alsana, what are you doing?
Do I see her?
Yeah, she's on a broom. She's up in the air. Unless she's
Can I
trying to...
hold my action to like if she tries something to Misty step away?
If you misty step away, you do drop Gage. You can't bring people with you. But if you choose to do so, you can do so.
she's going to slowly float up, just above him,
Mm-hmm.
and she just calls down, "I suggest you run."
Oh God, Gage, run! And I put down Gage and I misty step away.
And she floats down. Can she wild shape into a skunk?
Right before you do, are you within reach of Gage when you float down?
Vaguely, yes.
Before you do so, Gage throws himself at you in this big bear hug, covered in egg though he may be, and you saved me! You are the best witch!
She goes, "Oh, this works," and she floats up.
I just saw
Onward!
you.
There
I
are
just saw you
taxes to collect!
strike your brother with lightning. I'm not screwing with that.
And she will fly around with Gage, maybe pick up Robert and be the tax witch chauffeur.
Yep.
You have fun with my kids now, and don't drop them from. Don't drop them from the broom. Make sure they're home by curfew.
No. She will go, like, spook other villagers into giving the kids more taxes.
Oh, the kids are loving this. You are their favorite right now. They even promise that they will not prank you all day.
How lovely.
Yep. Does anybody else have big plans for the day, or does it just continue in this vein?
No, I think me and Aurora are good, and we'll just go back home.
So is there any fallout from Kane?
There is just a little bit of fallout in, not for Kane just yet, but Elaris.
Yeah.
You kind of you go to sleep at night, and you kind of wake up in the middle of the night to the crack sound and the cold, wet trickle of an egg across your forehead. And then you feel her lean over, give you a kiss. Happy Fool's turn. It's almost midnight. I get the last laugh.
Of course
Go clean
you
up.
do. I will.
However, before that, long before that, Kane, you eventually go back up to your room.
Presumably change.
Yeah, presumably change. Roll a quick little perception check.
Alright.
You do not see them. You have no.
Bad. Game over.
He'll just slide it on. Wiggle a second and go. Ah, fuck.
Oh no.
He lives in a swamp. This is not the first time this has happened.
Yep. There is
Well-
stickiness, and there is a very disconcerting wiggling.
He will pull it back down. He will, pluck. Because I'm sure, because the honey combination and what's there, it gets stuck to him.
Uh-huh.
He will remove it from his loins.
Oh God.
And he will walk over to Alsana's room.
Have you put pants back on?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
good.
No. Just the worst.
No, a shirt can cover everything.
No,
I just wanted to be
he will
sure.
walk, as he's walking, he will crouch and cast Pass the Trace through the Owl Soul Bow.
Oh god, okay.
Oh my God.
That's plus 10 to your stealth. So you're sneaking over to
24.
her room. Okay, yep. Yep. Alsana, your passive perception picks up nothing, and you've got no real reason to be searching, so... What are you doing, Kate?
He's just gonna take a little bit of the fishing line, wrap it around the cockroach, wrap it around the other cockroach. He'll leave the spider. Let the spider go.
Mhm.
And he will just hang them in front of the door frame at about head level, and just leave them.
Okay. There are 2 dangling cockroaches
Just
in
for
the
her,
doorway.
when she walks out that door next. I know Calda's fine. She'll just walk under it.
I think
Well,
Alsana is the one who has her own room anyway.
Okay.
So, just for the completion of this,
Alsana will walk out.
Alsana? Yep.
That's a good point.
Do a perception check just to see if you... Yeah, no, you don't see them until they smack into your face.
Oh,
Oh
Oh, you poor things, and she, like, takes them down and unties them.
Of course it doesn't taste.
Yeah. They go skittering off into corners.
Yeah,
They
she'll
are
just,
done with all this.
Yeah, she'll just, like, as she's untying them, just do a speak with animals, like, who did this to you poor things?
Little twitchy feelers and stuff, and they don't know names. They can barely give descriptions. Everything is big to them. But you do get the sense of
Smells like smoke.
you might get a little bit of that. You might get a little bit of place where honey was. Big thing came, found us.
Oh, how cruel. And she'll go and she'll just, like, out of her thing again.
You
Just,
smote me.
yep, a bit of honey, hand it to them in the corner and just say, just make sure you go back down to the basement, okay? They don't want to see you up here.
Yep, they snack on the honey and scurry on. Well, bewildered and lost and not quite sure where the basement is at this point, but
Oh, then she'll
they'll
just pick 'em
scurry
up and bring
through.
'em back.
Okay, you take them back to the cellar and let them go.
Yep.
Spider's nowhere to be found. All right. We're going to call that the end of that particular day.
Alright.
And,
Many showers are had.
yep, many showers.
When it
There's
gets, once the sun
liberal-
sets, Kane will just dive into the river naked so he can bathe off. He knows it's cool.
roll a constitution save.
Yikes. Yeah, no.
Because frankly, you have to chip ice away to do it. Okay, you dunk yourself in. Woo, it's frigid.
He'll come back out, scrub himself off, and get dressed again.
Yep. You kind of get back to town with chattering teeth, but not really too much the worse for wear.
Worst case scenario, he'll like light a torch and just use it for the warmth around his hands and face.
All right. With that, you get a long rest. And,
Oh, good thing I didn't
The
need
next
spell
day-
slots for anything today.
yeah, the next day dawns bright and early. The 5th of rainfall, midweek day. And you've got about 3.5 weeks until the next full moon, and you've got a route to plan.
Mhm.
We're going to go ahead and call the actual action of the session here, but we're going to go ahead and
talk.
get you guys to, plan out what your route is, how long it's going to take you to get places, where are you going to go? Let's go ahead
Probably-
and talk that out on the map.
I would assume we would head to Green River.
Yeah, but, what's your route?
Follow the river is probably
Is
the most
Alsana still
reasonable.
going in here, or are you
Mm,
following
she's
the
gonna
river
consider it.
exactly?
She's gonna
Cutting
ask.
across?
Like, she's gonna ask, like, do you guys want to stop for a day or at all in Soren?
I'm thinking we basically just keep along the river and hold on, I'm on.
Keep along the river and what, sorry?
Keep along the river, just follow this way, pass through Soren.
Yeah.
Go to Drake Run and just basically keep to the relatively civilized end.
Yeah, no.
Either
But she is asking, like, are you guys going to be stopping in, like, does the group want to stop in Soren for any extended period of time?
what's the approx? You said what is it, 18 hours? Sorry, 18 miles per day.
Yeah, it's about a day to Soren, and Soren is pretty much on the river, despite where the icon is on the physical map.
Okay. So it's like a week and a half, not even a week, not even travel. So yeah, I'd say we can stop a day in each of those major towns just to see what's around. Because we know where the Green River one is, right?
Yeah.
Or at least very close.
Yeah, you don't have to search too much for the Green River one.
Unless you
about
guys want to
where
visit
going.
Long Lake, which I'm just kind of curious about.
Where is that? Oh. Well, is that,
'Cause we could-
South.
is that just the lake or is that also a town?
It's a lake.
Okay.
Because we could just kind of.
That's a lot of travel.
Yeah,
It's like
technically,
a
when
week.
you're popping the thing on Drake Run, it's not a town. That is the name of the river.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
The library is the one we'd be going to.
Yeah, Lyria is a town.
Library A. Okay.
So just something like this, because we're gonna have to get back up there anyways to pass through those hills easily.
Yeah.
To there, maybe down to here.
Why are we going towards Long Lake?
Just if we feel like going, just because I'm curious. We've got the time.
Okay, well, how about this? We stop in Soren and we ask if there's anything worth there at Long Lake. Because if not, we can just head to Library, then oh well.
Okay, I'm just honestly kind of curious what's there.
I guess, but like,
Basically, I'm saying I just want another chance to roll that D100 tables that I know Ariel has. That's all.
we can
You've
always do
already-
that after we find the shrine.
All right. To be very, very fair, Conrad, just so you're not going into this with expectations, I've already had you roll on the D100 table, and that's for encounters spread across this entire journey.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You guys are not doing D100s in every location you go to.
Okay.
So,
This is your campaign, Conrad.
No, well, mine campaign I have some
I
good
mean,
stuff.
it's real fun, but
You know, I just mean like
I
I'm curious
simplified.
what Ariel has planned there. That's
Yeah.
all. And I don't have any grand thing for it, and I feel like if we're gonna do it between any shrine, it should be before we go to Green River, because again, we know where Green River is. The next one we'll be heading to is the one south of Netzir, above Green Lake, which we'd have to look for. So.
nope. The next one you're heading to, I think, is the Dragon
sorry.
Spine one that you have to
Oh yeah, and that's through hills and
but
mountains.
you do have to search, and yeah, hills,
Yeah,
mountains.
so I figure if any of them, if we're gonna take a little just side travel, I figure this one kind of makes sense. And honestly, we could go through the Soren Wood and get that water that you want to get.
I suppose, yeah.
Just again, just an idea. If you guys want to skip that, I'm fine with that. Just
Yeah.
toss it.
Yeah, just I'm not. I mean, yeah, it's a lake, but like,
If nothing's there, oh well, we just took a side thing.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's just like, oh hey, a lake exists here. Let's go see it. It's just like if we heard
It's
something
road
in
trip.
Soren,
Who cares?
if we were in Soren or something and they're like, yeah, no, there's this or that, or any semblance of civilization over there. Okay, fine. It's not just a road trip; it's a fantasy road trip where you can die on the side of the road half the time.
Yeah, so roadside, riverside, or lakeside. Who cares?
Well, because there's gonna be a road from Soren to Lyrie. If we go to Long Lake, we're gonna be hitting off the beaten path.
Would there not be a road from Long Lake?
There might be a little bit. Remember, there are small towns and settlements scattered
exactly.
throughout that are not really marked on the map, Walton being one of them
well.
originally. There might be settlements around Long Lake, you just know that there's nothing notable enough to be on the map.
Okay, can we then ask in Walton if there's anything near Long Lake that anyone knows
Maybe in
about?
Soren, just because.
Well, that's why I was
Probably
saying is I don't want to decide on going to Long Lake until we go to Soren and we ask about Long Lake.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Just so Ariel, if we go there, just she has some plans. So we know that we're gonna ask about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, I'm not super invested in it personally. Other two can speak up at any point.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I'm up with the idea of just going to Sword and seeing if anything's up with it. But just going there, I think, may be a bit of a rash decision, if you know what I mean. Especially since we have like the big city near the shrine too that we could check out.
yeah,
Which, by the way, how do you pronounce that name?
Windsor?
Okay, it is exactly how it
Windsor.
looks.
Yes.
Sorry, just when you put like 3 consonants beside each other, we get nervous.
Because Windsor could have some stuff too.
And the Y is like halfway already, so it's like, are you?
Only reason I said it because it only really adds like 2 days to the journey.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check the calendar.
Tell you what. I'll say that Long Lake, you're probably not likely to have heard much about. Windsor, if anybody wants, you can do a history check just to see if you know any legends or lore in the back of your head.
Go ahead.
Any of you. It doesn't have to be just one.
I mean, I doubt Kane would know anything, but
18.
I'll roll anyways, because why not?
18. Yeah, because why not?
Yeah.
5. Yeah, a bit north for you. Calda 17, not too bad. So I'll say between the 17 and the 18, Calda and Alsana, from various sources and for various reasons, Windsor is the capital of the nation of Azora. Azora is not a sprawling place. Really, it just kind of hugs this general area, the hills, some of the river. Nobody really,
this side of the river.
yeah, nobody really claims the Dragon Spine, but if anybody comes close, it's probably the nation of Azora. So you'll be crossing into that country anyway. You're aware that it is a nation. Humans are everywhere, but they are not in the majority in Azora. The majority there are actually Dragonborn. That being said, there are still representatives of various other races: humans, halflings, elves, half-elves, and etc., so on and so forth. Some dwarves. And you know also that Winzathor is actually famed for its its training and schools, and also appreciation for bardic arts performances. It's said that a bard isn't really a bard until they've performed in Winzathor. But on the other hand, that's also kind of it's kind of a hyperbole. And there are plenty of accomplished bards
It's
who
Vegas.
have never even been there. It basically, yes.
Okay.
There's hype attached to it, and some of it is actually deserved, but maybe not to the fullest extent.
It's
But
Vegas.
that's about what you know. Yeah.
All right.
You might also know with an 18, sure, why not, that the current ruler of Azora, it is a monarchy. The current ruler is a queen. You might not quite remember her name though.
Starts with
But you do know. But you do know it's
A.
You do know it's Dragonborn, as is most of the culture and the people there.
Along the dragon spine? No way.
Yeah, along the dragon spine. Who could have known? Yeah.
All right. So if that's the case, yeah, I'd say we're heading to Soren. We have a potential detour to Long Lake, but I am of the opinion we should kind of just go to Lyrie. Lyrie.
Lyrie?
Lyrie. Yeah, we should probably just head to Lyrie. Do we know why the Golden Hills are called the Golden Hills?
I mean, you can do another quick little history check.
Alright. Guidance implied.
Sure. You're trying to remember all the things.
19.
19. Well. For one thing, you do know that, the Dragonspine Mountains in that area aren't really the best for mining. The precious gems and rare metals tend to come from the other side, the Riolet range. However, it being the Dragonspine, there's a lot of like legend and lore and myth and maybe even like hints of history of dragons in the area. So it could be the Golden Hills come from that. It could also just be some sort of natural coloring of the area.
Alright. Oh, maybe we'll meet some of Tokuni and Claddy's relatives up there. Who knows? Actually, I might have to write to her about that. Anyways, okay. What do we know about Killidan and the Killidan across the river?
All right, Killidan. Another history check.
All right.
Yeah, just cause.
What's
17 and 4.
21.
All right, 21. You know that Killidan is a decently sized town, but not really on a major trade route. It's
bit out
gets similar to Gordar, just down the way a little bit, and a little bit more on Umbar's side of things. They get a lot of their living and their fame and so forth from the Glistening Forest, which is so named because, interestingly enough, given your interests, because of a particular breed of tree that has a silvery bark.
Ooh, alright.
It's basically like if they cut things down and make things out of it, it's polish it up. It comes across as kind of a luxury item just because it looks really pretty. even though it's not super rare.
Does she know the name of that tree by any chance?
Go ahead and make a nature check. I know it's a lot of checks, but
15
okay. There we go.
with a 21
Yeah.
on Killiton.
Yep. You know, it is commonly known as mirror bark.
Mirror bark. I was gonna
For
say if it's silver
fairly
bark, I'm
obvious
gonna eat my
reasons.
hat.
No, mirror bark. It's not purely silver. It's more like veins within the wood itself, and then patches of its bark grow silver pale. And especially when it gets wet, like a storm comes through, that's when it really seems to flash metallic. So if it's correctly treated and polished, then it always appears that wetness. If you've seen something varnished. And so that's when it really flashes and glimmers.
Alright.
So it almost, something carved out of it almost appears to be made of melded wood and metal in this very strange natural appearance. It's greatly valued for its beauty.
Alrighty. I just like having plant names written down on my sheet.
Okay.
Okay, so we got Winds of Thor, Green River, goes into the Green Water Hills, goes into the Green Lake, goes into the Green Waterfall Woods.
Yeah, there's a name theme going on there, isn't there?
Oh, what? I didn't notice.
There.
So, what's the one down there that's almost one of our players' names? Over at Galagea?
I've ignored it so far.
Karad?
Oh, Karad.
So,
Yeah, that wasn't intentional.
Alright.
never is. Hey, I'm just thinking about Russell. It's just if we had a player named Russell, it'd be.
Alright. So, yes, I think our plans for now, so you guys are going to be spending a bit in Soren? At least a day?
Today. I need to buy some arrows, at the very least. I actually need to make some money first.
Yep, because Alsana does want to stop by the place.
Yep.
Has she shown you know who there yet?
At this point, probably not, given that you didn't spend a lot of time in Soren.
Okay. That might be an alternative then.
Yeah, you could take the trip up to Soren, leave them there for a day, travel out, travel back. It would be 2 days for the traveling, technically. They would be in there for 2 days then, and 1 day travel, so it'd be another 3 days.
She'll ask, like, do you guys want to perhaps stay there 2 days? Get some more information on Long Lake, perhaps? I'm sure they're going to have more things to buy and things like that. Restock on arrows.
We sell some fish.
Did you fish? We can definitely sell some fish.
As well, I believe.
Question.
Oh, good.
Question?
I can arrange. You said boats generally don't go eastward up there.
They can, but right now it is covered in ice. It hasn't
Okay.
really melted, except sometimes in patches at very edges and in coves.
Okay.
Also,
I was
the
gonna
water
see.
runs to the west.
That's why I asked, because you said people don't go east because of the water.
Normally, it would take a lot of effort to go this way. You can take a boat upriver. However, it's harder than going down.
Yeah.
You can take a boat upriver.
Well, that's why I
however,
wanted to
you
ask,
take a
'cause
boat
I was
upriver.
That's the thing. I was gonna have to see if Kane might eventually be able to find some work to work up the river with someone just on a boat. But if it's not done at this time of year, that's fine. Just I need
Yeah.
to make money somehow.
It is a rough time of year for that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll head to Soren, and then assumedly stand this side of the river until regardless of whether or not we head to the long.
Head to Long Lake. Yeah. Yep. And Alsana will make a brief detour of her own while you guys are there. because there's, well, we'll get to it when we get there.
Hmm. Yeah, that'll probably be next time. So, yeah, next week, get to Soren as a group. You get to find your information, do your shenanigans. Alsana gets to do a little 2-day trip in and out while you guys spend a couple of days in the town itself.
We might also...
And then you'll be off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we might... I would hope we kind of, like, start on our way by the beginning of it.
I'm
Sorry, by
hoping
the end
so.
of next session.
I really hope so.
I do as well.
That being said, this one was interesting.
You said April Fools, we ran.
Yes, I did. Oh, goodness, yes, you did. So yeah,
I'm just
it's
curious
a
if anyone
good...
like.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
If anyone had what?
I was gonna say just if anyone Kane trained, would have been like, "Did you get struck by lightning 3 times?" Usually, yes, it happens. So,
I have no doubt that the story has spread around town.
in that case, next time he sees any of Alaris's kids, it's gonna be like, "Make sure you eat your vegetables so you turn out strong like I do."
Alaris has one kid right now, so...
Yeah, just if he sees me, gonna be like, "Make sure you eat your vegetables so you turn out strong like me so you can be struck by lightning."
Oh,
Don't
God.
why are you giving him advice like that?
I'm trying to get him to eat his vegetables.
Don't get struck by lightning.
If she floats by,
It's
don't
not-
worry, they don't piss off the witch.
Okay. I think that with that, we're good for the day, aren't we?
I assume Alaris gives another goodbye to his wife and kid.
Yep.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, and
Why
so
would you ask me that?
early on the morning on the 5th of Rainfall, you head out towards Soren, and that is going to be the official end of the session.
Okay, good.
Pretty good timing, too.
Okay.
Okay. If that's all, then I'll stop the recording.
That is
Till
all.
next